We're live.
Welcome to the May 14th meeting of the Miami City Commission in these historic chambers, or homes, or bathrooms, wherever we may be. The members of the City Commission are Alex Diaz de la Portilla, Joe Carollo, Manolo Reyes, Ken Russell, the Vice Chair, and me, Keon Hardeman, the Chairman. Also on the dais, or wherever they may be, are Arthur Noriega, our City Manager, Victoria Mendez, the City Attorney, and Todd Hannon, our City Clerk. We will now begin our regular meeting. Our city attorney will state the procedure to be followed during this meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Any person who is a lobbyist pursuant to Chapter 2, Article 6 of the City Code must register with the City Clerk to comply with related city requirements for lobbyists before appearing before the City Commission. A person may not lobby a city official, board member, or staff member until registering. A copy of the code section about lobbyists is available in the City Clerk's office or online at municode.com. Any person making a presentation, formal request, or petition to the City Commission concerning real property must make the disclosures required by the City Code in writing. A copy of the City Code section is available at the office of the City Clerk or online at municode.com. In accordance with sections 2-33 subsection F and subsection G of the City Code, the agenda and the material for each item on the agenda for today's virtual meeting was published and made available to the elected officials and to the public at least 5 business days in advance of today's meeting. The material for each item on the agenda is available during business hours at the City Clerk's office and online 24 hours a day at miamigov.com. Any person may be heard by the City Commission through the chair and upon registering pursuant to the public's notice for not more than 2 minutes on any proposition before the City Commission unless modified by the chair. Since this is a virtual meeting and is also authorized by the Governor of the State of Florida, members of the public wishing to address the body may do so by visiting miamigov.com/virtual meeting to upload their video comments or to submit their written comments via the online comment form. Members of the public may also call 305-250-5353 to provide comments via the dedicated City of Miami public comment voicemail. Members of the public may also pre-register to provide live public comment by phone during the meeting. You may pre-register by phone by calling 305-250-5350 or online at miamigov.com/government/live-public-comment. All comments submitted will be included as part of the public record for this virtual meeting and will be considered by the City Commission prior to any action taken. The city will accommodate any speakers desiring to appear in person, subject to all applicable emergency measures in place to prevent the further spread of COVID-19. Speakers who appear in person will be subject to screening for symptoms of COVID-19. Any persons exhibiting any symptoms of COVID-19 will not be permitted to enter City Hall. All interested parties are required to abide by all state, county, and local emergency orders and are urged to remain at home and practice social distancing. If the proposition is being continued or rescheduled, the opportunity to be heard may be at a later date before the City Commission takes action on such proposition. When addressing the City Commission, the member of the public must first state his or her name, his or her address, and what item will be spoken about. When the City Commission takes action or votes on any proposition before it, it shall do so by roll call, which shall be recorded by the clerk and included in the record. Anyone wishing to appeal any decision made by the City Commission for any matter considered at this meeting may need a verbatim record of the item. A video of this meeting may be requested at the Office of Communications or viewed online at miamigov.com. Please silence all cell phones and other noise-making devices. Any person with a disability requiring assistance, auxiliary aids, and services for this meeting may notify the City Clerk. Please note, commissioners have generally been briefed by city staff and the city attorney on the items on the agenda today. The City of Miami is using Zoom to hold its May 14, 2020 virtual regular City Commission meeting. Zoom is a cloud platform for video and audio conferencing, collaboration, chat, and webinars across mobile devices, desktops, telephones, and room systems. In order to ensure that the public has the ability to view the meeting, the city's communications department will broadcast the meeting through all the usual channels and avenues that are provided when a City Commission is held fully in Commission chambers at City Hall. The meeting can be viewed live on Miami TV at miamigov.com/TV, through the city's Facebook page, on the city's Periscope channel, on the city's YouTube channel, and on Comcast Channel 77. The broadcast will also have closed captioning. Additionally, the city has not selected a virtual platform that requires the public to purchase or download any additional software or equipment to watch this meeting. Aside from the Zoom platform and that the participants will be appearing remotely, the public will have no discernible difference in their ability to watch the meeting. The city has developed several new methods of ensuring public comment for a virtual meeting. The first new option allows the public to provide public comments via the dedicated City of Miami public comment voicemail by calling 305-250-5353, where individuals will be able to leave a 2-minute message that will be played during the virtual commission meeting. The second option allows for the public to submit a 2-minute video to be played during the virtual commission meeting. The third option allows the public to submit comments via the city's online comment form. The comments submitted through the comment form have been distributed to elected officials and city administration throughout the day so that the elected official can consider the comments prior to taking any action. Additionally, the online comment form will remain open during the meeting to accept comments and distribute to the elected officials up until the time the chairman closes public comment. The fourth option allows the public to pre-register to provide live public comment by phone during the virtual commission meeting. For all these options, all comments received will be included in the public record of the meeting. The city also created a simple set of instructions explaining how the public may submit their comments with either option. Those instructions were provided in the notice to the public and published online on miamigov.com/virtual meeting. Additionally, like any other city commission meeting, the public may provide public comment at City Hall. The city has set up a terminal in the event members of the public travel to City Hall to provide public comment. Due to COVID-19, all speakers designed to appear in person will be subject to all applicable emergency measures in place to prevent the further spread of COVID-19. Speakers who appear in person will be subject to screening for symptoms of COVID-19. Any persons exhibiting any symptoms of COVID-19 will not be permitted to enter City Hall, but will be able to participate through the remote options described earlier. These 5 public comment options established and provided for the virtual regular city commission meeting comply with section 286.014 and section 120.54 Florida statutes. The city has published the agenda as well as included in the notice to the public pursuant to our city code and the items and topics that will be discussed at the virtual regular city commission meeting. Additionally, the public has been given the opportunity to provide the public comment during the meeting and within reasonable proximity meeting time before the meeting via the public comment voicemail, online public comment form, the public comment video upload, and then live public comment by phone. Section 286.014, subsection 4, subsection C, Florida statutes specifically authorizes the city to prescribe procedures or forms for an individual to use in order to inform the board or commission of a desire to be heard, to indicate his or her support, opposition, or neutrality on a proposition. The city, through its public comment options, has provided 5 different procedures and forms to indicate, among other things, his or her support, opposition, and neutrality on the items and topics to be discussed at the virtual commission meeting. The city provided information on how to submit its comments in the notice to the public on the dedicated webpage and via the city's social media channels. Commissioners, please confirm you are comfortable with the notice provisions as set forth and these uniform rules procedures we've established for this virtual meeting.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Commissioners, are there any pocket items that you all want to read into the record, the headings into the record? Commissioner Russell, you recognize?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just would like a pocket item directing the city manager to work with the local MPA, the local bids, and the police to craft a program for sidewalk dining and parklet dining in parking spaces throughout the city so that restaurants can help recover and manage social distancing as throughout. We have the bids are already working on this, and I've heard from several residents that are interested in this in restaurants. So this will just give direction to the manager to complete a program I believe he's already started working on.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
So before you, I recognize you, Mr. Reyes. I will identify that pocket item as pocket item number 1. Commissioner Reyes.
Yes, I had a pocket item in that same line that it was drafted. It didn't draft. I mean, it was drafted, and allowing the restaurant instead going to be opening at just a percentage of capacity, allowing the restaurants where it is possible. Mine is a directive more than anything else. Allow that to allow or for the city manager to investigate and see where it will be possible for restaurants to have additional seating in the sidewalks, also on streets. And mine also includes the waiving of fees, and it is limited to only 60 days. It's starting on the 20th, that as I do understand, and I'm listening to the mayor this morning, that's the day that we plan of opening. Is that true, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Yes, I had mentioned that to the mayor before,
Okay.
and he says that he was in agreement with it, and that's what we are.
So Commissioner Reyes,
I mean, I think that it is very close to Mr. Commissioner Russell's.
right there, and that's my point now. So the differences in that, can you all come to an agreement on? I think Mr. Russell, you said throughout the city, and Mr. Reyes, you said that wherever possible.
Well, when I said whatever possible, it means that you have to analyze the width of the sidewalk. You have to analyze a bunch of things that we have to give the authority to the city manager for them to decide where it will be feasible.
Right.
You see?
So let Mr.
And also mine includes the waiving of fees. You see, I mean, the permits and all that, and also an expedition of permits, expediting this so we can do it as soon as possible.
Mr. Russell, are those friendly amendments to your liking?
The only one I would have issue with is a 60-day. I believe there's going to be a significant investment in the build out of these spaces, especially for protection. If there's a dining and a parking space, for example, and you're going to need a buffer to the cars, this is the parklet concept we brought over a year ago as a pilot program, and then a further initiative to help restaurants build out these spaces. So I think a little longer time if we're going to make these investments. I imagine the bids are going to be carrying a big part of the investment to help the restaurants. So 2 months might be a little bit tight. So I was looking for 3 months.
Okay, and I don't have any problem with it. But one thing that this is going to include Coconut Grove also, sir.
Yes, I mean,
Okay, because
I
mine
would like to
includes
see
the whole city. I
Anyone
mean,
who would like to apply and any commissioner who doesn't
That's
want
right.
it in their district, I'm okay with that too, of course. But the bids will probably drive it because that's where the funding is for these restaurants. But I don't want to exclude any restaurant if it's safe and it's possible and the manager's okay with
absolutely.
it. Anywhere in the city is fine with me.
And I want to add that we talked about this in the DDA, and the DDA supports it, and the downtown bid supports it also. And I think that it would be great benefit for all those restaurants that are going to be opening at just a percentage of capacity.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
I know Commissioner Diaz de la Portilla, then the mayor, then Victoria Mendez.
Okay, I think maybe to clarify a little bit, I think we've all had conversations with the city manager about
That's right.
when the restaurants are going to open, and we've all been back and forth. We're not able to have conversations between ourselves. So wouldn't it be better if we already have a plan, or the city manager is already heading in a certain direction based on different directives that he's received from all the commissioners and from the mayor, that we have a plan of when we're going to open, what the restaurants, what capacity is going to be allowed, occupancy 50%, I think it is, that was being discussed. I don't know if they settled on that number or not. The outdoor seating, the parking lots, all the ramp up time, because it takes time for people to, set up their restaurants and ramp up. You just can't open from one day to the other. All these things have been discussed privately with our city manager, with our mayor. I'm sure we've all had conversations. I know I have. And we have an update instead of having 2 or 3 or 4 different pocket items where everybody says a little bit of what we're all doing. Why don't we just get an update of where we are as a city, as a commission, as a legislative body, and then we can, once we have that update, we can add to that and say, well, what about this and what about that? We can have a debate. I think we can have a more reasonable, cohesive debate doing it that way.
Mr. Chair, can I answer? And this is exactly what I'm going to try to do. Is a directive to the city manager. It's a directive. Mine is not. It just to start analyzing.
He's already doing it. We've all talked to him. I mean, he told me.
I just wanted to make it the way the procedure goes. And I mean, make sure. I just want to make sure that this is going to be done. It's just a directive. It's not a resolution. It is not an ordinance. It's just a directive to start working on it as soon as possible, since we have a bunch of restaurants and mine. It's only for restaurants, because I don't want any other businesses to be able to use the sidewalks, because if not, what we're going to have all the mannequins and everything on the sidewalks, and that is what I'm going to try. But I agree. I mean, it's just a directive.
What I would like, at least from my perspective, is to get an update from our city manager at some point early on in the conversation, so we know what everybody's doing and what everybody's thinking, instead of having this back and forth, because it can just drag on for a long time. So we have sort of an update on what all the ideas are. There's a lot. Everybody has ideas here, and everybody has good ideas, and some of them are the same ideas. I don't know what Commissioner Reyes has in mind, what Commissioner Russell has in mind. I know what Mayor Suarez has in mind, and what our manager has in mind. So I want to see where we are. All those conversations, Mr. Mayor, that you've had, that the city managers had with all of us privately, can now be made, to one coherent policy of how we're going to ramp up restaurants and everything else, so that we know where we are, and with the people that are watching us operate today know where we are and where we're going to be in a week from now and 2 weeks from now. At least,
Commissioner, with all due respect, this is what we're asking. I mean, I don't know that you see any
I'm
difference.
asking for an update.
They are, no, hold on a second. What I'm asking is precisely what you're asking. And I don't see why we're gonna go this back and forth. But we're telling them, hey, listen, you have a directive to do this. Tell us what you're gonna do. That's it.
So, Mr. Mayor,
I just want to make one clarification and a little bit of factual clarification. So, I wanted to apologize to Commissioner Reyes because I made a slight mistake. The date that we are targeting right now for opening restaurants is May 27th. And the reason why it's May 27th instead of May 20th is because precisely for this reason. So we have the time to implement these ideas that you all have come up with. And understanding that the county initially refused on Tuesday night to give us, the League of Cities, which was asked specifically, what the set of rules that they were going to promulgate. Yesterday, we had a press conference that I notified all of you of at 2. At 1:55, we were sent a proposed set of rules that was 185 pages and that were not approved by the governor. They still, up to this point, have not been approved by the governor. So part of the problem is we have to, first of all, wait for the approval. Then we have to analyze those 185 pages. Then we have to educate, all of us are going to together have to educate our small business owners, our restaurants. They're going to have to go out and procure, as Commissioner Russell said, and as you said, they're going to have to either procure more tables or they're going to have to do whatever they're going to have to do in their businesses to make sure that they comply with those 185 pages, which we still haven't looked at, of rules. So that's why we wanted to wait. And the other thing is we did this in combination with Miami Beach, Hialeah, Doral, Miami Gardens, because what we didn't want to happen is what we saw in South Point when they opened, our parks were closed, those 3 major cities, and Miami Beaches were open. Everybody rushed to the one open park, and we wanted to work together so that we wouldn't create a rush from one city to the next. But of course I support your guys. I support your initiative. I think your initiative is intelligent. Tampa has done it successfully, and they've gotten a lot of credit. I was speaking to the mayor of Tampa, Jane Castor, this week, and she was explaining to me how they did it. So I think it's a wonderful idea, Commissioner, and I support it 100%.
Commissioners, are there any other? Oh, I'm sorry, Victoria.
Thank you. I just wanted to confirm the pockets that are being discussed by D2 and D4. D2 is thinking of the parklet concept. D4 is thinking of the sidewalk cafe concept. So I just wanted to make sure that I brought both of those if you're going to merge them. And I believe the administration was also requesting a similar pocket in regard to sidewalk cafes in order to be able to do the road closures that would be necessary for this. So I just wanted to merge all that together if possible.
And
Right,
also you can include Commissioner Diaz de las Portillas, his observation on it. I think that it's a very good observation. Let's get a report from the city manager and let's move forward.
Okay. Are there any other pocket items that the commissioners want to put on the record? Mr. Min, can you read the heading for the pocket item?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I believe this is sponsored by District 5. It's a resolution of the Miami City Commission with attachments authorizing the modification of the City of Miami's right of reverter in order to be more consistent with Freddie Mac's lending standards for the project being developed by residents at Dr. King Boulevard Limited, a Florida limited partnership, provided that the conveyance is in full compliance with the charter of the City of Miami, Florida as amended, particularly Section 29 of the City Charter, the Code of the City of Miami, Florida as amended, and any and all other local, state, or federal rules and regulations. Further provided that the city's declaration of restricted covenants is recorded simultaneously with the deed before any of the project's lenders or investors, and further provided that before the developer and its successors, transferees, and assigns may transfer, attempt to transfer, or encumber the properties or the project or any portion thereof, the developer must first obtain the city's prior written authorization. Further authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute any and all necessary documents, all in a form acceptable to the city attorney and bond counsel for said purpose.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Russell?
Could I just get a written copy of that circulated?
Sure, no problem.
Thank you.
So what we're gonna do now is, I see the mayor went away. So what I'll do is I'll open the floor for public comment. And I'll start with those who are at the podium at City Hall. So those of you who are there, you have 2 minutes to address this body. You may state your first name, you state your first name, your last name, you may state your address, and then what item it is that you're concerned about. You recognize.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ken Naylor with Atlantic Pacific Communities, 161 Northwest 6th Street in Overtown. I'm here on behalf of Dr. King Residences, which is a 120-unit affordable housing development that has all of its financing teed up and is ready to move forward. Unfortunately, the contract that was originally signed with the city contained a reverter provision, which is not our permanent financing provider, Freddie Mac, has determined is not financeable. The project is otherwise ready to go and move forward. And in these times when housing constitutes healthcare and economic development, we really need your support in moving the item forward. And I'm available if you have any questions. Thank you.
Ready for me?
You recognize, sir.
Yes, my name is Brian McDonough. I'm a lawyer here in Miami. I've been a lawyer here for the last 37 years, most of which has been exclusively involved in the representation of developers and lenders in providing affordable housing and predominantly in Miami-Dade County. I'm here really to answer any questions that you might have. What we will be doing is providing a reverter that will remain in place until the project is actually built in a lien-free manner so that it is available for occupancy by affordable housing residents. In addition to the restrictive covenants that will be running in favor of the city that will ensure that affordable housing will be maintained, there will actually be restrictive covenants that run in favor of the federal government, the state, and the county. I would say that this is probably the most restricted and protected affordable housing project that I will ever close. And then lastly, I will tell you, I probably have about 30 projects that I'm currently closing right now. In the last week, 5 investors have left those projects sort of at the altar, if you will, because of the pandemic crisis that we're facing. So it is a critical moment for the city. And we really appreciate, frankly, the city and the county, in my opinion, have been the best partners to have of any place I deal with in Florida. So it's a critical moment, and this project's going to be transformative for the community in which it's located. So I'm here if you have any questions. Thank you very much for letting me talk.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other persons in City Hall?
That's it. We're gonna go now to the callers. Phone operator 3, you're live.
Sir, you are now live with the commission. Please speak.
Michael March. I live in Coconut Grove at 3543 Plaza Street in the West Grove. The first item I'm calling about today is FR5. This item has been presented by Commissioner Reyes. I'd like to thank him. It protects homeowners in the city of Miami from historical designations. Basically, it is just allowing us a greater appeal period. For those of us, I'm somebody who appealed my designation. This legislation would extend the appeal period from 15 days to 60 days. It would also increase awareness by mandating more certified letters of meetings, because too many people in Miami are getting designated historic without even their knowledge, because they're too busy working, and the city doesn't go to enough trouble to include property owners who are important. The second item I'm calling about today is SR1. I would like to ask that the commission votes that down. That's regarding food trucks. I believe that this is an example of guerrilla economic warfare against the brick and mortar restaurants. These food trucks are fulfilling orders for virtual restaurants that don't even have a brick and mortar location. So these virtual restaurants can only be found online. And the parent company is Saudi Arabian in these parking lots. And so since the parking lot business is going slow, it would seem they're almost imploding the business districts in which they serve by offering this competition. So this is something very suspicious as an emergency measure. Please vote it down. Thank you for your time.
Phone operator 1, you're live.
Ma'am, you are now live with the commission. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, commissioners. My name is Jessica Boudreau, and I am a resident of downtown. My zip code is 33132. And earlier this week, I read an article that Cocoa Beach has had to pick up 13,000 pounds of garbage off of their beach on the weekend that they reopened. And I wanted to know what the city of Miami may have planned to prevent litter going forward. I think one thing that's happened during COVID is that the environments have had a little bit of a break. But I recently started walking the causeway, the MacArthur Causeway, for exercise, and I've been working with a mall during that time because there was about 3 miles of construction debris and litter from our residents. And Miami has a huge littering problem, and I would like to know what your plans are going forward to sort of help keep Miami clean and perhaps start enforcing with fines people who litter. Thank you for your consideration.
Okay, we're going to go now to recorded public comments.
Hi, my name is Muayyad Abbas, and I live at 555 West 49th Street, Miami Beach, Florida, 33140. I am here in opposition of the proposed removal of special area plans from the zoning code. Life is dynamic, so are the communities and the real estate that serves them. SAPs allow communities to adapt to these dynamic changes and generate economic growth and development that it needs to keep up with the overall macroeconomic growth. SAPs are a great vehicle for developers like myself to inject significant capital into neighborhoods in order to generate significant economic impact that would not only benefit the neighboring communities but increase the tax base of the city, and thus allowing it to enhance and upgrade its services to further the positive impact of this investment. Great known examples of applying SAPs are found at Brickell City Center as well as the Design District. These have been transformative, to say the least, to its surrounding neighborhood and the community. Of course, people can take advantage of the rules and exploit them in a way that would create a negative impact in the short term. But ultimately, it is up to our professionals to evaluate the situations and guide that process. The assumption that the solution should be binary is lazy, and we deserve better as citizens. Finally, we know that a significant portion of the city's tax base is generated by the growth in property values, which is created by real estate development. This is a critical component that our city depends on to support its growth, and it needs it now more than ever in light of the COVID-19 impact. Please take my opinion with the backdrop of my experience. I graduated from the School of Architecture at the University of Miami. I was a project manager at Duane Plata Zyberg, working on large master plans. I was a vice president of development at the Related Group, also in charge of several mixed-use projects. And last but not least, I'm an adjunct professor of entrepreneurship at the University of Miami's graduate program for real estate development and urbanism. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Carla Michelle. I live at 400 Northeast 115th Street, Miami, Florida, 33161, and I am calling to say yes to the repeal of the FAP. Thank you. Bye.
Hi, my name is Melissa Michelle. My address is 980 Northwest 10th Ave, Miami, Florida, 33136. I am a City of Miami resident. I am calling in regards to the repeal of the special area plans. I would like to express my support in repealing this plan. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Richard Tardanico, Department of Global and Social Cultural Studies, FIU, item FR1, pertaining to SAPs. I urge the City of Miami to replace Miami 21's SAP provision with alternative provisions that protect communities by requiring future approval of neighborhood upzoning to include inclusive community participation in project planning, environmental and displacement impact studies, and substantial affordable housing and community benefits. Thank you.
Hello, City Commission. You're speaking here to Luis Gonzalez from apartment 2213 and 133rd Northeast 2nd Avenue. I'm here to talk to you about the special area plans for Miami 21. I believe that the special area plans are a tool for gentrification and displacement in the city of Miami. They incentivize developers to buy out large swaths of land and that they maintain vacant for extended periods of time, as is happening right now in downtown Miami, where property values are being engineered almost by this very strategic purchasing of properties and buying out the whole entire neighborhood by a couple of developers, and this kills small businesses. It kills the local flavor of cities, because it incentivizes top-down planning that does not reflect the organic needs of the community, and only serves to further private interests, and only serves to create more displacement and gentrification. So it's simply bad governance, simply bad urban governance, and I hope you guys take my thoughts into consideration and repeal the special area plan. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Stefan Alexis. I'm calling on behalf of item number FR5131. I would like for you to go ahead and repeal the special areas plan. My phone number is 305-494-7894, and I reside at 18957 North Miami Avenue. It's Miami, Florida 33169. Again, for item number FR5131, want to repeal the special area plans. Thank you.
Hi, my name is David Gonzalez, and I'm from 5800 Northwest 186th Street, Hialeah, Florida 33015, and I'm calling to comment on item FR 5131 in support of the repeal of references to special area plans in the City of Miami Code. This item 5131 and repeal of special area codes, special area plans from Miami should be both brought together. SAPs have not served our city and our residents, and instead threaten our communities and the affordability of our city. Hopefully you reconsider. Thank you for your time.
Hi, my name is Brax Tinkler. I live at 631 Northeast 72nd Terrace, Unit 1, Miami, Florida 33138. And I'm calling and asking you to please defer making any decision on Miami 21 and SAPs. Currently, I don't think that there's enough community engagement. It seems like it's very much special interests of developers and attorneys that are getting these SAPs approved. And I'm a Miami native. I've lived here since 1986, and the impact of these SAPs getting approved is just really gentrifying a lot of neighborhoods. There hasn't been enough studies on how traffic is also going to be an issue, and the rent is really high. No one my age in their 30s can really buy homes anymore in this area, and it's really impacting Black and brown communities who are already subject to climate gentrification, since everyone wants to move over west of 95 or close to 95. So again, please defer any kind of decision on Miami 21 and SAPs, because I think that during COVID-19 is not the right time to make these decisions, and there's a lot of people in the community who should be a part of the conversation, not just the folks that are profiting off this development. So please consider that. Thank you so much and take care. Bye.
Good evening. My name is Sam Herrera. I live at 2630 Southwest 28th Street in Coconut Grove, and I am a graduate student in the Real Estate Development and Urbanism program at the University of Miami. I made the choice to study here in Miami and make the city my home in light of the access to world-class real estate development projects here in the city, such as Brickell City Center. In addition to being a highly successful mixed-use destination in the heart of Brickell, Brickell City Center has truly shifted the paradigm for sustainable real estate development projects, incorporating green building features, transit integration, and innovative design. Projects like Brickell City Center have been made possible by the Special Area Plan, a tool established by the Miami 21 zoning code, which allows developers to integrate creative elements into their designs for large-scale projects. Without SAPs, the city of Miami will lose out on much-needed employment growth and development of workforce housing by way of large-scale real estate projects. SAPs allow the creation of the projects that will define the face of Miami in its second century. Therefore, on behalf of those like me who wish to contribute to the future of Miami, I humbly ask the City Commission to vote to keep SAPs as a part of Miami 21.
Hello, my name is Roma Cohen. I'm calling on behalf of my business named Alchemist, which we've had stores for the last 15 years in the Miami-Dade area, and currently in the Miami Design District in the Paradise Plaza area. My home address is 1525 Daytonia Road, Miami Beach 33141. I'm calling to leave a comment on behalf of the SAP, which we really believe to be a great cause for the area and for the neighborhood. It's directly helped our business to help ourselves employ new employees that live in the area, as well as the SAP itself being able to employ many people, and we believe to be a great thing for the community in terms of all the special events that are planned and the cultural projects for the city that are brought, which the community always needs and thrives after. The Miami Design District's developer has a great connection into this cultural world, and we believe his help in curating and energy and brain time put in to these projects have not only helped us, but helped the community tremendously. We hope not to see this SAP disappear, and we just wanted to voice our opinion in the hopes of keeping the SAP as it is with no changes. Thank you so much. Roma Cohen from Alchemist.
Yes, hello. My name is Mariela Lopez Delber, and I live in 661 Northeast 68th Street, Miami, Florida, 33138. I am calling about the commissions and the city commissioners and the mayor who have the ability to appoint members at the Audit Advisory Committee, the Climate Resilience Committee, the Code Compliance Task Force, the Code Enforcement Board, the Community Relations Board, all the committees on item 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, through all the way to 29, all these committees that these individuals, officials, city officials are nominating and appointing, and I think it's not correct, professional, or accurate or transparent that we know who they're replacing. You have the names of the people who are there now, but they don't tell us who they are, who are they nominating, who they are, how long have they been in the community, what is their experience in terms of being on these boards, what did they have to offer, so that we, the citizens, the taxpayers that are helping to pay for these committees, will know exactly who we're dealing with, and not, we don't know if there's some kind of nepotism or oligarchy happening here within the city, and it should be disclosed, it should be open, and we should have this kind of knowledge. Thank you, and keep doing a good job in holding up the Banana Republic. Bye-bye. Yes, this is Mariela Lopez de Albert at 661 North 68th Street, Miami, Florida, 33135. I didn't use up my 2 minutes in my first comment. And my public comment, continuing on, is that I happen to have applied for the Historic Board item number 10, and I went to all of you commissioners, and I asked if any of you would please nominate me or consider me for a nomination, and all of you told me that you were not appointing any more new members on any of these boards, and it turns out that you are. So which is the truth here, and which is what? And I also wanted to commend Commissioner Carollo, known as Crazy Joe, for still being a commissioner and putting a balance into this circus that you guys have going on. Thank you.
Hello, yes, my name is Eddie Arroyo. I live at 401 Northwest 42nd Street in Miami, Florida, 33127. I'm calling about item number FR 5131. I'm voting or commenting on the repeal of the special area plan, the SAP. I think the Miami 21 inclusion of the SAP allows developers too much freedom to implement whatever upzoning request they deem necessary for urban density. So, and traffic and just quality of life. I've lived here for many years now, and I am not looking forward to living in a highly dense neighborhood. It just doesn't seem practical. It's not what I want. I feel that it may lead to a lot of problems, and it simply isn't something that is beneficial to the community. I hope you'll take my voice in consideration and take comfort in knowing, I take comfort knowing I'm not the only one that is not happy about how this SAP has been implemented over the years in Miami in a number of different projects. So thank you so much for allowing me to speak, and have a good day. Bye.
Good evening. My name is Danielle Goodman from 43 Northwest 85th Street, Miami. I'm calling to comment on item FR 5131 to support the repeal of references to special area plans in the City of Miami Code. Both this and the repeal of SAPs for Miami 21 should both be brought together. It is very important to have inclusive development in Miami that doesn't leave people out. SAPs have not served our city and residents and threaten communities and the affordability of our city. Miami should be a city that is welcoming for all, and repealing SAPs and replacing it with more inclusive development standards is a good way forward. Thank you, Commissioner. Bye.
Hi, my name is Tashia Metador, and I am currently at the residence of 7060 Northwest 2nd Avenue, and I am calling on agenda item 5S31. I would like to ask that the commission defer their vote towards the special area plans. Neighborhoods are already struggling with the zoning changes that are already put in place. Please consider your decision for this special area plan. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Zani Veras. I live in 3815 Southwest 82nd Ave, Miami, Florida 33155. I'm calling to comment on item FR 5131 in support of repealing the references to special area plans in the City of Miami Code. This item, 5131, and repeal of SAPs from Miami 21 should be both brought together. SAPs have not served the city nor its residents, and it threatens the communities and the affordability of the city. Just wanted to call to leave my opinion as a constituent. Thank you very much.
This is J.B. Diedrich here in the Grove at 3758 60 Fro Avenue. I want to thank Commissioner Manolo Reyes for pushing for Chapter 23, Miami 21 historic designation to give us 60 days rather than 50 days. As you know, we had a really scramble the last time we were designated historic against our will. So I wanted to thank you very much for making the effort. I think the next thing that I would suggest is getting rid of the thematic designation and perhaps making a bigger effort to get rid of all the fees that we must pay. You guys, the mayor was kind enough to grant us a break from the fees, but it would be wonderful if that worked for everyone because it's not cheap. Anyway, as you can see, the house is beautiful. Still working on it. Still will and always will. Thank you.
Greetings. My name is Marlene Bastien of 100 Northeast 84th Street. First, I'd like to congratulate all the commissioners for bringing item FR 5131 for a vote regarding the repeal of the SAPs. I have two comments that I'd like to include. First, in light of the COVID-19 pandemic, I'd like to request that a vote is postponed on this item. Number two, if you decide to move forward with the vote, to repeal the SAP from Miami 21 because it contributes to the forced displacement, gentrification of residents and businesses in Black and Browns area in the city of Miami. Thank you so much.
My name is Lisa Phillip. I am at 774 Northeast 70th Street in Miami, 33138. I'm calling to comment on item FR 5131 in support of the repeal of references to special area plans in the City of Miami Code. This item, 5131, and repeal of the SAPs from Miami 21 should be both brought together. SAPs have not served our city and our residents, and instead threaten our communities and the affordability of our city. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Valeria Cardenal, and I live at 10500 Southwest 97th Court, Miami, Florida, 33176. I'm calling about City Commission Agenda Item FR1 for the May 14th, 2020 meeting. I love living and working in the city of Miami. It is one of the best places in the United States to call home. I'm very lucky to work at Mirto, a Spanish luxury shirt maker in Brickell City Center. Companies from all over the world have shops at Brickell City Center, and together they employ hundreds of people, which showcase Miami in all its glory. These companies were drawn to Brickell, a place that had no fine department stores a decade or so ago. Today, Brickell is a destination for restaurants and nightlife and professionals of all ages and incomes. I have always heard if it isn't broken, don't fix it. It seems to me that if the City of Miami was able to create a wonderful project like Brickell City Center, then it should continue to keep that process going. I don't know much about SAPs, but I do know that I have my job in a spectacular project because someone believed in that process worked, and invested a lot of money to make their dreams a reality. Please do not close the door on investment and opportunity for our community. Please vote against Agenda Item FR1 in today's meetings. It would mean the world to us residents. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dawn Feinberg. My work address is 3806 Northeast 1st Avenue, 33137. I am calling about the reference number of FR.1, and I am calling to say that the design district, the design district would not have been possible without staff. The project has created so many jobs, so many businesses, and opportunities for many. I'd like to request that the City Commission does not do anything that would hurt the progress of this great project. Thank you so much. We believe in staff. Staff has been so helpful for the prosperity and the community of the design district. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Hello, my name is Francis Ingertita. My address is 9688 Fontainebleau Boulevard, apartment 408, Miami 33172. I'm calling to comment on item FR 5131 in support of the repeal of references to the special area plans in the City of Miami Code. This item 5131 and repeal of the SAPs for Miami 21 should be both brought together. SAPs have not served our city and our residents and instead threaten our communities and the affordability of our city. Thank you. Signing off, Francis Ingatita. Thank you so much. Please call me at 305-903-6281 if you have any further questions. Bye.
Hello, my name is Karina Castrillo. I live at 7044 Southwest 103rd Place, Miami, Florida 33173. I'm calling in reference to item FR1. I would like for the Commission to postpone the vote until after the pandemic hiatus. I agree that special area plans should be repealed and replaced, but this vote would only repeal a portion of SAPs from the code relating to the Planning and Zoning Board. So if you would, please postpone voting on this issue until a full repeal can be voted on. Thank you for your time.
Yes, my name is Catherine Ramsey, and my address is 1111 Genoa Street in Coral Gables, and I am calling to express my concern about the special area plans, and I would like to support the repeal that has, of these plans, because it seems wrong that developers can build projects at greater height and density than would usually be allowed. So I am voting, or I would like the vote to go for the repeal of the special area plans. Thank you very much.
This is Michael Escobar at 1800 West 54th Street, Hialeah, Florida 33012. I'm calling to comment on item FR 5131 in support of the repeal of references to special area plans in the City of Miami Code. This item, 5131, and repeal of SAPs from Miami 21 should be both brought together. SAPs have not served our city and our residents and instead threaten our communities and the affordability of our city.
Hello, my name is Nelly Villamil. I am calling from 4900 Ronda Street. I'm calling to comment on item FR 5131 in support of the repeal of references to the special area plans in the City of Miami Code. This item 5131 and repeal of special area plans should be both brought together. I'm calling in support of this repeal. Thank you.
Hi, this is Kalima Noor at 848 Oglethorpe Avenue, number 11292, Atlanta, Georgia 30310. I'm calling to comment on item number 5131 in support of the repeal of references to special area plans in the City of Miami Code. This item 5131 and repeal of SAPs from Miami 21 should be both brought together. SAPs have not served our city and our residents and instead threaten our communities and the affordability of our city. Thank you.
My name is Alan McGuffey. The mayor said once, Miami wouldn't be the melting pot that it is without the great Haitian community. I, as a Haitian American, I agree. That's why I work so hard with all the great people in the community to help stop illegal dumping. The month of May is actually Haitian Heritage Month. May 18th is actually Haitian Flag Day. That's why we're here asking our elected officials to help us clean up Little Haiti.
This is Joseph Martinez at 521 Northeast 82nd Terrace, Miami, Florida 33138. I'm calling to comment on item FR 5131 in support of the repeal of references to special area plans in the City of Miami Code. This item, 5131, and repeal of SAPs from Miami 21 should both be brought together. SAPs have not served our city, nor has it served our residents, and instead threaten our communities and the affordability of our city. Under Miami 21, developers and developments have contributed to the displacement, gentrification, and cultural erasure of our communities. Thank you.
My name is Ken Barnes, and I'm a resident of North Miami at 11111 Biscayne Boulevard. I urge you to say yes to the partial repeal of SAPs from the Miami 21 Code and item 1531 on your agenda, and also urge you to include this item together with considering the repeal of SAPs from the Miami 21 Code. SAPs have not brought the community benefit originally promised. It is an overly permissive zoning mechanism that allows property owners to rewrite the zoning codes with little in the way of restrictions. This has allowed for the massive developments like the Miami Produce Market, Eastside Ridge, and Magic City, at times allowing 20 to 25-story towers in residential neighborhoods. And the applications allow developers to evade obligations to communities, including on-site affordable housing. It is a fact that not one of the SAPs in Miami has produced a single unit of affordable housing. Miami needs to consider urgently replacing the SAP mechanism with ones that protect neighborhoods and residents by creating affordable housing requirements for any residential zoning and creating or supporting systems for inclusive development like community land trusts. Just repealing SAPs is not enough. Simultaneously, new tools must be introduced that promote equitable development, protecting residents whose interests are drowned out by well-resourced and arguably unaccountable developers and investors. Part of the remedy is to begin a process to develop template community benefit agreements, which have enforceable provisions around such economic benefits as affordable housing, local hiring, living wages, and job training services, among other things. Miami 21 must be updated, centering stakeholders and those impacted in the community. There must be inclusive community participation in project planning, impact studies, substantial affordable housing, and community benefits. Thank you very much.
My name is Mackenzie Marsland. I live at 1444 Northwest 14th Ave, Miami, Florida, zip code 33125. I'm calling to comment on item 5131 in support of the repeal of references to special area plan in the City of Miami Code. The SAPs, they do nothing for our communities. It just encourages gentrification. Many of the families have to leave and leads to displacement and I believe homelessness as well. And many of the people that live in these communities for a long-standing time are left with places and homes and apartments that are unaffordable. So again, I support the repeal of 5131.
My name is Aki, and I would like everybody to save North Miami. I am 18. My name is Jay Joseph. I call to save North Miami. I am 18.
Hi, my name is Jill Michael. I'm calling from 1221 Northwest 91st Avenue, Pembroke Pines, Florida. And the message that I wanted to leave was to appeal the SAP special plan because it is conducive to the gentrification and displacements of residents and businesses of Black and Brown communities. So I was calling to repeal the SAP special area plan. Thank you.
Ikita Shaw, address 7950 Northeast Bayshore Court in Miami. I'm calling to voice my support of repealing special area plans for Miami 21. These special area plans, they contribute to too much gentrification and way too much displacement of our locals and low-income earners. And you're not giving us any choices on where we can buy or rent because you're driving up all the rents and you're driving up all the costs of the community. So I'm again calling to voice my support in repealing the special area plans for Miami 21. Thank you.
Good morning, City Commissioners. My name is Terrell Fretz, Executive Director of the Flagler District Bid. I'm standing here yesterday afternoon in downtown Miami in front of a Reef Kitchen, a food truck operation that directly competes with our local restaurants who are struggling to survive on takeout and delivery. Unfortunately, last month, the Commission approved provisions that allowed this operation to take place in downtown Miami. That provision was supposed to expire on April 24th. Today is May 13th. Please do not support SR1, and remember to support our local restaurants, shop local.
Hello, my name is Victoria Villamil. I'm calling to comment on the item FR 5131 in support of the repeal of references to special area plans in the city of Miami. This item, F131, and repeal of SAP special area plans for Miami 21 should be both brought together. Special area plans have not served our city and our residents and threaten our communities and the affordability of our city. Again, my name is Victoria Villamil. The address is 100 Northeast 84th Street, Miami, Florida. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Luis Corrales. I wanted to make a comment about any ideas of extending the shutdown. The main concern of mine is that at this point it may be that it is very possible actually that the cure to this situation can be worse than the disease. I understand that coronavirus is a very serious issue and that we need to take it seriously. Heck, I was one of the people that was recommending that we take it seriously from the very beginning. But we have to recognize that at some point we can't simply keep things shut down. There's already the UN saying that millions of people are going to starve the longer we keep this going. There's already studies showing that the shutdown itself may have actually contaminated more people than it helped, considering that the infected people have nowhere to go but their own homes. I understand the concern, but at this point we need to recognize that give me liberty or give me death was not followed up with in case of ignore this in case of a pandemic. It was most certainly a call to we need liberty. We need liberty instead. We can't be trading our freedoms for a little bit of temporary safety. We already know that this has gone on far too long. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Gal Bensadon. My company is Red Door Construction LLC, located at 6358 Manor Lane, 33143. I am calling on agenda item FR.1513, Department of Planning. First, thank you for the opportunity to address this commission. I've been in the construction industry for 15 years, and the past 5 years of which have been as principal of Red Door Construction. Real estate development is a pillar of the Miami economy. Special area plans have made projects like the Miami Design District viable. I have employed hundreds, if not thousands, of employees over the past 3 years through my own staff and the subcontractors that we've hired in the commission of our work. This would not be or not have been possible without SAP. It is for this reason that I strongly request that the Commission consider leaving SAP in place. Job creation and business opportunities depend on it. Thank you for your time and consideration. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Aidil Osari, AIDIL-OSCARIC. My address is 275 Northeast 18th Street, Miami, Florida, apartment 202. 33132. I'm calling to comment on item FR1 5131. I am in support of removing all references to special area plans. I think that special area plans just contribute to more gentrification and the higher cost of housing. We're already experiencing a terrible housing crisis in the city of Miami, and this only contributes to it. I, as a resident of the city of Miami, have seen how special area plans are hurting our community and urge you to please remove references to special area plans. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lorena Castano. I live at 7000 Northwest 2nd Avenue, and I'm speaking on item FR1. I would like to ask the Commission to defer their vote to a later date when government offices and meetings can resume after the COVID hiatus. Special area plans should definitely be repealed and replaced, but this vote would only repeal a portion of SAPs from the code relating to the Planning and Zoning Board. Please defer voting until a full repeal can be voted on. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jessica St. Fleur, and I live at 155 Northwest 64th Street, and I'm speaking on item FR1. I would like to ask the Commission to defer their vote on a later date when the government offices and meetings can resume after the COVID-19 hiatus, because special area plans should definitely be repealed and replaced, but this vote would only repeal a portion from the code relating to the PZAB. So could y'all please defer voting until a full repeal can be voted on? Because at this point it does not make sense to only repeal a portion when SAPs have such a large impact in our communities, and it should be an inclusive process. So thank you.
My name is Mary Descent. I live in North Miami. I don't accept to remove those people from the crown. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Leave them there. Leave them there. Leave the people there. They don't have any house. They don't have nothing to do. Only that place they have one house on it. Please don't do that. We cry against forgiveness. Them, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. We need help. We need support. But don't do that. Don't kick them out, please. My name is Gina Pierre. I don't accept to remove those people from Lido, Haiti. It's not unacceptable. Please don't do that. My name is Magali Jolibois. I live in North Miami. I don't accept to remove those people from Lido, Haiti. I say no.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Nicholas Hepner, and I live in downtown Miami at 325 South Biscayne Boulevard, 33131. I'm calling about item FR1, referencing my support of special area plans. I'm an architecture designer. I know just how important development is in Miami, and I can attest to the fact that for a very long time, no one was building in either downtown or in Brickell. Thankfully, though, our city code was amended and some smart planners came up with the SAPs that have allowed for major investors to come and create bold and visionary projects. Let's keep these types of projects in our city. I ask that you support SAPs and vote against FR1. Thank you very much.
Hello, Commissioners. This is the strangest way I've ever appeared before the Commission, but obviously these are strange times. Thank you for continuing to think about the community and work for all of us with everything that's going on. And I'm thinking of you. Anyway, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Craig Robbins, and I'm one of the managing partners of the Miami Design District. And I know that you're going to be considering SAPs. Obviously, we support you and whatever you want to do in general with SAPs, but I want you to know that for people like us that have entered into agreements with you and relied on the SAP process, it would be extremely damaging for you not to exempt us from whatever you're doing and grandfather us in to be able to not only have an SAP, but continue to work with you on it. I don't necessarily think it's appropriate for everyone, but I want you to know that in our case, a big part of the success of the Miami Design District has been the support that you have given us through the zoning process, which has enabled us to do something that is really unique and special. It wasn't about maximizing square footage and adding density and a lot of things that people are uncomfortable with. In fact, it was collaborative with our neighbors and the residential communities around us. But it really enabled us to do something that is special. I hope it's a source of pride for you. It certainly is for me and many of the members of our community. So all I ask is that as you go through this process, please be careful not to do something that would ultimately be damaging and harmful to us and disenable us from continuing to do the great things that we're trying to do to have our little part in making Miami a great place.
Hi, my name is Julia Florentine. My address is 7000 Northwest 2nd Avenue, and I'm speaking on item FR1. I would like to ask the Commission if they can defer their vote on the special area plans until the full special area plan can be voted on. As of now, only partial special area plans would be repealed, and I think that they should wait until there can be a full vote. Thank you, and have a great day.
Hi, my name is Haley Piper. My address is 20100 Northeast 21st Avenue, Miami, Florida, zip code 33179. I'm calling to comment on item FR 5131 in support of the repeal of references to special area plans in the City of Miami Code. This item 5131 and the repeal of the special area plans for Miami 21 should be both brought together. Special area plans have not served our city and our residents, and instead threaten our communities and the affordability of our city. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Michelle Andre. I live in Little Haiti. I'm calling about the selling of Little Haiti, the gentrification. I'm calling to petition it and ask the commissioners to please not go ahead with this. Thank you.
My name is Suzine Tawi at 100 Northeast 84th Street, and I'm calling to comment on item FR1 5131 in support of the repeal references to special area plans in the City of Miami Code. This item 5131 and the repeal of SAPs from Miami 21 should both be brought together. SAPs have not served our city and our residents, and instead threaten our communities and the affordability of our city. Thank you.
My name is Jordan Jobson. My address is 11051 Southwest 162 Terrace, zip code 33157, Miami, Florida. I'm calling to comment on item FR 5131 in support of the repeal of references to special area plans in the City of Miami Code. This item 5131 and repeal of SAPs from Miami 21 should be brought together. SAPs have not served our city and our residents, and instead threaten our community and affordability of our city. Thank you. Have a good evening.
My name is Eric Hilaire. I'm calling for North Miami. I'm living in 148 Northeast, 14860 Northeast 6th Avenue. Apartment 301. I don't know nothing for North Miami. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Hi, yes, my name is Juan Mercado. My address is 178 Northwest 47 Terrace. I currently work and own a business in Miami Design District. We wanted to say that without the SAP, the Design District project would not have been possible. The project has created many jobs and also businesses, the opportunity for many. We want to request that the City Commission doesn't do anything that will be harmful to the progress of this great project. It will harm so many new businesses starting out, especially with this situation that's going on. So I ask, please, for the City Commissioner that do not do anything against the SAP. Thank you so much. Again, my name is Juan Mercado, and my address is 178 Northwest 47 Terrace, Miami, Florida, 33131. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Laura Mundiaguirre. I live at 171 Northwest 97th Avenue, apartment 01, Miami, Florida, 33172, and I'm speaking on item FR1 on behalf of Engage, who is at 7000 Northwest 2nd Avenue. I would like to ask the Commissioner to please defer their vote to a later date when the government offices and meetings can resume after the COVID hiatus. Even though special area plans should definitely be repealed and replaced, though this vote would only repeal a portion of the SAPs from the code relating to the Planning and Zoning Board. So please defer voting until a full repeal can be voted on. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mariana Peñalosa, and my work address is 7000 Northwest 2nd Avenue, and I'm speaking on item FR1. I asked the Commission to defer their vote on the item to a later date when the city's government resumes to in-person meetings after the COVID-19 global health crisis. SAPs try to erase and displace poor people of color and already vulnerable population through a reconfiguration of space, and this needs to be repealed from the Miami 21 in its entirety. This vote would only repeal a portion of SAPs from the code and relating to the Planning and Zoning Board. SAPs clearly develop and reimagine areas without low-income Latinos and Black residents while also using Black culture as a commodity to attract rich white residential consumption. Please defer voting until a full repeal can be voting on. Thank you.
My name is Karina Rios, and I live at 8125 West 9th Court, Hialeah, Florida. And I'm calling to comment on item FR 5131 in support of the repeal of references to special area plans in the City of Miami Code. This item 5131 and repeal of SAPs from Miami 21 should be both brought together. SAPs have not served our community or our city or our residents, and instead threaten our communities and the affordability of our city.
Hi, my name is Catherine Brennan. I live at 774 Northeast 70th Street in Miami, 33138. I'm calling to comment on item FR 5131 in support of the repeal of references to the special area plans in the City of Miami Code. This item, F131, and repeal of SAPs from Miami 21 should be both brought together. SAPs have not served our city and our residents and instead threaten our communities and the affordability of our city. Thank you for listening and responding.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Peter Badgley, and I live in the Reach Building at Brickell City Center at 68 Southeast 6th Street in Miami, Florida, 33131. I'm calling about item FR1 regarding the SAPs. I want to first off thank the Commissioners for allowing me to speak with you today. I call in support of SAPs against FR1. The SAPs allow developers to build world-class communities in the City of Miami. We should be encouraging more projects like the Design District and Brickell City Center, not discoursing them. So please support the betterment of our Miami, and thank you.
Hello, my name is Erica Friso, and I live at Reach at Brickell City Center at 68 Southeast 6th Street, Miami, Florida, 33131. I'm calling about City Commission Agenda Item FR1 regarding special area plans. As a resident of Brickell, I want to express my strong opinion against Agenda Item FR1. We must allow Miami to continue building community-defining projects. Please continue to support SAPs. If you have a problem with the way that they currently work, amend your code. Don't get rid of the baby with the bathwater. Thank you so much for your time.
My name is Kieran Bowers. I am the president of Swipe Properties US at 98 Southeast 7th Street, Miami. I'd like to thank the commissioners for your belief, faith, and continued support in Brickell City Center. I'm submitting this video to speak in opposition to FR1, which could eliminate all references to special area plans in Miami. Swipe Properties has been a developer in Miami for over 40 years. Our focus has been primarily Brickell Key, which in itself is a master plan development. BCC is the first SAP approved and built under Miami 21. Swipe Properties has invested over $1 billion into phase 1 of BCC, and in 2012 when the project started, this investment represented the largest private investment in real estate in the country. The SAP was a key reason Miami secured this. First, SAP provides scale to design and build highly specialized integrated complexes. It allows for a holistic approach to transportation, design, landscaping, public amenities, and the flexible allocation of uses such as hotel, retail, office in urban renewal projects. Second, it allows a company with a long-term vision and long-term capital to grow. The city has graciously supported 3 subsequent amendments to Phase 1 of Brickell City Centre SAP, which in turn will allow for a further $2 to $3 billion of investment in the coming 5 to 10 years. We are very proud of the centre and believe it has contributed to the transformation in the heart of the city's commercial district. To be clear, we fully support improvements and enhancements to the SAP process. It is an excellent planning tool for the right project in the right location to attract investment to fulfill the city's vision and for the benefit of the communities within it. It is my sincere hope and wish that the Commission can consider the substantial benefits that the SAP enables and look towards the successes without dismissing SAPs altogether.
Hi, good morning, Commissioners. This is regarding your meeting on May 14th regarding the FR1. My name is Raul Sanchez Elia. I live at the Icon at 495 Brickell Avenue in Miami. I've been living here since January 2013 when I moved from New York. And the Brickell City Center was getting built, and a lot of the city that we have today is a result of a lot of the measures that the city has done so well and put in place many years ago. I find that, if we do not give room to these special area plans that have enabled the Brickell City Center and the design district to come up, I think it will reduce the amount of quality projects and developments that the city has. I humbly ask you to support the special area plan so that we can continue building this best city that anybody can dream of. Nature, buildings, architecture, symbols, everything this city has, it is fantastic, and a lot of it has to do with the special the special projects that come up in these special area plans. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Felipe de Sosa. I live at the address 1890 Southwest 4th Street, Miami, Florida, 33135. I'm calling to comment on item FR 5131 in support of the repeal of references to special area plans in the City of Miami Code. This item, 5131, and repeal of SAPs from Miami 21 should be both brought together. SAPs have not served our city and our residents, and instead threaten our communities and the affordability of our city. Thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Brianna Palazzolo. I'm calling as a member of the nonprofit Engage Miami, address 7000 Northwest 2nd Avenue in Miami. And specifically, my comment is in regards to agenda item FR1. I personally believe that SAPs are used as a tool to speculate the land and distort the land as opposed to being used to develop neighborhoods in a way that is just and sustainable. I'm specifically calling to encourage deferred voting until a full repeal can be voted on. I think that a partial repeal of SAPs is simply not enough, and that we should wait until after the COVID hiatus to vote on a full repeal on SAPs. I believe a full repeal should have its time in the City Commission. So thank you very much. Again, I'm calling on behalf of Engage Miami as a nonprofit. Thank you.
My name is Jean-Luc Adrien, 3000 Biscayne Boulevard. I'm calling to comment on item 5131 in support of the repeal of reference to special area plans in the City of Miami Code and Miami 21. This item and repeal of SAPs from Miami 21 should be both brought together. The SAP process is deeply flawed due to minimal non-existent requirements in ensuring neighborhood preservation, lack of meaningful process to gather public input and negotiate community benefits, a lack of inclusionary affordable housing requirements, and a lack of study on the impact to the surrounding neighborhoods, such as on traffic, their environment, and especially displacement of folks who live in those neighborhoods. For this reason, I'm calling in support of the repeal of references to special area plans in the City of Miami Code. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Lynn Purcell. My address is 5191 Northwest 20th Avenue, Apartment 1B. Anyway, I'm speaking on the Miami City, I think it's called Special Area Plan in the city. I want to repeal this here because these people have not done anything for the city and should not be able to come in there, should not be able to receive any type of benefits from the city, which they have not paid any taxes into, and not build within our community, and not have done anything for the community. So I am here to repeal this particular SP. It's called this is the item number 5131, and the repeal of the SPAS. I'm repealing that. This should not come. This should be voted out. It should be voted out. And that's all I have to say. That the special area plan should be voted out, and these people do not deserve any of the money. It should go to the community. Thank you.
Non, moi c'est Magali Pierre-Louis. Moi pas d'accord pour yo prendre l'île Haïti l'emmène nous. Moi pas d'accord, moi pas d'accord, moi pas d'accord, moi pas d'accord vote là.
Pas d'accord tout. Non, moi c'est la fortune pour la vie. Moi pas d'accord pour yo prendre l'île Haïti l'emmène nous.
Non, moi c'est Marie-Pierre. Moi relais pour me commenter sur l'article FR 5131 dans support pour retirer plan zone spéciale FEP dans Miami 21. Article ça 5131 Act. Si et puis sorti dans Miami 21 t'as doué tout déporter ensemble. Nous relais pour nous dire que nous pas d'accord. Tout le monde a relais Save North Miami, 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 Save North Miami. Non, moi c'est Jésus la Bellegarde. Moi relais pour commenter sur article FR 5131 dans support pour retirer plan zone spéciale FEP dans Miami 21. Nous pas d'accord avec article ça. C'est là nous rester, c'est là nous vivons. Nous voulons Save North Miami. 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 Save North Miami.
Okay, we'll be translating the last public comments that were in Creole.
My name is Nestle Rousseau. I'm the Creole interpreter, and I just interpreted these 4 comments from 4 different people. The first one was Magali Pierre-Louis. She disagrees with the vote to take Little Haiti away from them, and she wants to put FR 5131 together with the SCP. And then we have La Fortune Orvel, which also disagrees with the same as Magali Pierre-Louis, and he wants to make sure that his vote counts and says no to the removal. And then we have Marie-Pierre. Marie-Pierre is the one who wants to save North Miami, and she had some children who were with her who also wants to do the same. And we also have the last person, which is Jesus La Bellegarde, which also disagrees with Article 5131 and wants that to be removed and not voted on. Thank you. And this is the interpretation of those Creole comments.
Thank you very much. Are there any other, I guess that's the end of the public comments. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Mr. Mayor, I want to, first of all, I'll just note for the record that the public comment period has ended. Mr. Mayor, I want to recognize you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to say briefly again, I want to extend my thanks to all the commissioners who have been tremendously supportive throughout this process. We have been completely unified. All of you have been constructive. You've all given suggestions, had ideas that have helped our city deal with this unprecedented pandemic, and I just want to continue to extend my thanks. It's far easier to do our job when we're all rowing in the same direction. And so that's something that I am infinitely grateful for, and I think the residents are infinitely grateful for. So thank you all for that. I also want to just take a moment to recognize two giants of our community that we lost over the weekend. One of them was Betty Wright, who was one of the quintessential voices of the women's rights movement in South Florida. She empowered female voices. In the history of the world of music, there were few singers that had accomplished what she had before her 18th birthday. She made history as the first Black female artist to score a gold album on her own label, Vanity. And the album was notable for the hits No Pain, No Gain, and After the Pain. She went on to be a vocal instructor for future stars, owning a publishing company, and she was a leader and friend to many in our city. And of course, the second person was historian Arva Moore Parks, that we tragically lost over the weekend. I think Arva represented a part of our soul. She was someone who was beloved. It was impossible not to be captivated by her understanding of who we are and what the essence of the city of Miami is. Anytime she advocated on an issue, I think we all certainly paid attention and gave it a tremendous amount of credibility, whatever side that she was on. So for me, I just want to take a moment to recognize her legacy and the impact that it had in the city of Miami. And I want to thank you for the opportunity to deliver this message. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, sir. Are there any mayoral vetoes?
Chair, there are no mayoral vetoes.
Thank you very much. And
I have one pocket item, if I could have the city attorney read it so that we could have any additional public comments if need be.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Commissioner. A resolution of the Miami Commission authorizing and directing the city manager to meet with Mayor of Miami-Dade County and Director of Miami-Dade County Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation to demand that Miami-Dade County provide provisions or accommodations for the transportation of jail inmates released from the Turner Guilford Knight Correctional Center located at 7000 Northwest 41st Street in unincorporated Miami-Dade County back to their originating communities and cease from further transporting released inmates to the city of Miami for purposes of abandoning the jail releases within the boundaries of the city, further authorizing the city attorney to take any and all actions necessary against the county in law or in equity to prohibit further transportations of released jail inmates into the city and seek any and all appropriate remedies, providing for an immediate effective date.
Thank you very much.
Chairman, can you open the public comment for that and it be rolling until you close it again? Pretty please. For the pocket?
Right. So if anyone has any public comment they would like on the pocket item that we just read into the record, you will be allowed to call in and express yourself regarding that. We're going to handle some of our business first, and then we'll come back to that pocket item for public comment. The other items that were for public comment have already been exhausted. Okay, Mr. Manager, you're recognized, sir. Is there any item that you want to continue or defer or withdraw? Mr. Manager, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Vice Chair, Commissioners, Madam City Attorney, Mr. City Clerk. At this time, the administration would like to defer and or withdraw the following items. To be withdrawn, PH2, it's the approval of the right-of-way access of Illumination Technologies, even though there is going to be a presentation on this item or an appearance with regards to this item. To be withdrawn, RE5, which is the allocation of IPI funds, Farm Share Inc. To be withdrawn, FR1, which is to amend the code, chapter 62.
Manager, I apologize. Can you start over for me?
Start over, sure.
Yeah.
To be withdrawn, PH2, which is the right-of-way access for Illumination Technologies, but they have requested an appearance to actually formally submit communication regarding that withdrawal. To be withdrawn, RE5, which is to allocate API funds with FarmShare Inc.
What's the reason for that one?
RE5?
Yes.
Because it was already heard at the last meeting.
Okay.
This just ended up on the agenda, but you took this item up at the last meeting.
Of course, that's why. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought other people had contributed to Commissioner Reyes and my effort and Mayor Suarez's efforts to help FarmShare, but that was just wishful thinking, I guess.
Can I continue?
Well, I believe that the mayor covered mine.
That's right.
So.
Touche.
Well done.
To be withdrawn, FR1, which is to amend the code, chapter 62, the repeal of the special area plan process. To be indefinitely deferred, FR2, which is to amend the code, chapter 38, Maurice A. for a Park Conservancy. To be withdrawn, FR3, which would allow TCO to be issued during a plating process, and to be deferred to the June 11th meeting, FR5, which is to amend the code, chapter 23, historic preservation. On the planning and zoning items, to be deferred to June 25th, PZ1, which is an appeal of the Planning, Zoning, and Advisory Board for 1267 Southwest 22nd Street, 1292 Southwest 21st Terrace, and 2149 Southwest 13th Avenue. To be deferred to the June 11th PZ agenda, PZ2, which is zoning text, reference marinas and CS civic space. To be deferred to June 11th, item PZ3, which is also zoning text for public storage facilities, district zones only. That concludes the items.
Are there any continuous deferrals, withdrawals that the commissioners want to put? Mr. Diaz-Laportilla and then Commissioner Russell.
I have a question. The city manager on FR1. Did he say that was going to be withdrawn or deferred?
Withdrawn.
Withdrawn.
Never to come back again to us?
Unless we bring it.
It was correct. It was withdrawn, but it's going to be sent to the Miami 21 task force to review, and then maybe it could come back to you in a different way. But this one will be withdrawn for now.
Okay, because the idea was this keeps coming back and back to us over and over and over again, and I think the commission should vote whether they think it's a good idea or a bad idea, and just let the task force do whatever it's going to be empowered to do anyway, instead of having to deal with it on a piecemeal basis on the revision of Miami 21. That's the job of the Miami 21 task force, to look at everything as a whole and to make a decisions how we're going to revamp our coding ordinances. The important thing is that if we don't bring this up, if we continue to defer this or withdraw this and bring it back up, then this debate continues, and we have organized public comment like we had this morning, referring to it as FR 5131. I think 4 or 5 people referred to it as FR 5131. Well, that doesn't exist. So it's clearly some organized effort to try to, cloud the issue and confuse the issue. So I understand why you just bring it up and kill it if we can. The votes exist, and then we let the task force look at it and review it and do what they want to do, and recommend to us later on what we should do. The question of the differences between just bringing it up and voting it down if the votes are there, or withdrawing and having rear its ugly head again every time we have a commission meeting. You're muted, Ms. Mendes, I think.
Sorry. It's going to be withdrawn, so it won't be indefinitely deferred. Indefinitely deferred would be it comes back in 6 months. The request is to totally withdraw it. So you will not see this legislation in this iteration anymore.
Okay,
if the task force, so it's what you want.
That's a clarification I wanted. Okay, thank you. I'm trying to understand the city, city local government parlance.
The jargon.
The jargon that I don't know yet, but I'm getting there.
We're gonna send you a little cheat sheet. We actually have one.
I'm a quick learner, but send it to me so I can get beef.
I'm still learning, man.
Vice Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, I'm in favor of withdrawing this item as well, as long as the task force is taking it up. So the task force is fully formed, and when do they start meeting? Because I think there's been enough advocacy on both sides of this issue that we need to recognize the changes that are needed in Miami 21 to update it for, recognizing what is working, what is not working, and SAPs certainly aren't perfect. So I look forward to what the task force brings back to us in terms of recommendation, and they may even have a working group specifically for SAPs because it's a very complicated issue. But I'd love to see ways we can improve it and keep the guardrails in place so that as these larger developments happen, they serve the community in a good way, and we get what we need for our residents and our infrastructure out of them. But can I get an update on the task force itself and when they would be getting together?
So we discussed the task force meeting actually this week. So we're going to push to have that task force communicated with and convened in the next couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Okay.
And then I would like to withdraw FR3, my item. FR3
is in there. It's in there. Mr. Vice Chairman?
Thank you. I'd like to defer SR1, the food truck item, until June 11th, please. There's been enough advocacy on this one that we have some work to do to make sure we're not giving the impression that we're damaging brick and mortar businesses during this time of need.
Yes, I would like to co-sponsor RE6, and we have a little problem with the food ordinance, and I know that we have included in that ordinance the reef kitchen that we have arguments about it, and I am going to request that we bifurcate. You see, take off the reef kitchen and take on the food trucks, because we included some churches that they use food trucks in their festivities and their tombolas and everything. And there is a church in the downtown area that it is, needs to have the food trucks there, because that's the only way that they can use it. And I don't know if it will be possible, and it will be accepted by this commission, that we take the food trucks and what it is, the kitchens, all the kitchens, that are taken separately and be deferred until we can sort it out and see how they affect the establishing businesses and all that.
Mr. Chairman.
You're recognized. Now,
thank you. It's with regard to that item that I requested, the SR1 611 deferral. I appreciate Commissioner Reyes offering that suggestion, because this entire amendment was only brought about to help churches service their local area with the food truck concept. And this particular church has gained the approval of 11 surrounding brick and mortar restaurants, big ones, small ones. They're all in support of it, and they've just been holding and waiting. And it is this additional concept of satellite kitchens or ghost kitchens that has sort of derailed a lot of this effort. So if this commission's open to bifurcating the item and passing the food truck portion for the church exemption only today, I'll remove the request for deferral on SR1.
Well, then I have to make a motion to bifurcate. I don't know what.
We'll do when
how do we work with this?
When the item comes up. So I'll remove my request for deferral of SR1. When the item comes up, I'll welcome an amendment to bifurcate.
Okay.
Are there any other requests for deferral, withdrawals, or indefinite deferrals, anything? Seeing none, is there a motion in accordance with what's been stated on the record?
So moved.
Second.
By the chair. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
All against? That motion carries. So give me a second while I make the notations.
Okay. Okay.
Por eso. Avance con tranquilidad.
Tenemos esta gente.
Okay. Gentlemen, the chair would like to entertain a motion to approve of the CA agenda and pocket item number 1 and pocket item number 2.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to pull CA3, please.
Okay, so there will be the CA1, CA2, pocket item number 1 and pocket item number 2. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion.
Been properly moved.
Second.
Seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All against? That motion passes. CA3, Commissioner Russell.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Fellow commissioners, this is a settlement of a lawsuit we've been in for a while in my district. And I have a couple concerns here. One is on the substance of the settlement and how we got here, something that you all need to be very aware of. And two, a little bit about the process through which we bring these settlements to commission. I'll start with the second part first. The settlement I had been briefed on, must have been about 6 months ago when we were first in disagreement with a developer. They had violated setback rules and their development was moving forward, but we had put a stop order because it was clearly in violation of our code and violation of the Florida Building Code. We got into a lawsuit with them, and I had worked with the city attorney because it's not just about dollars and it's not just about the code. This is really a deeper problem we have in our departments in terms of approving things that are not legal. But this never came back to me. I never got a briefing on how that settlement was coming along or where it was going. It's just popping up on an agenda now. And I have not been able to make my case to you as fellow commissioners, which we would normally do in a shade meeting, for why this issue is so complicated. So I'll go to I believe we either should have had a shade meeting or my office as a district office should have received a briefing on this settlement prior to it coming to commission and getting put on an agenda. But let me go to the first part, which is the substance of the issue. If I can share my screen, this is the property we're talking about. Let me see if I can do this. Can you all see that?
Yes.
This is an image from the Miami Herald from, I believe, August of last year. These are not my words. This is in the article online where it says developers are skirting zoning codes and diminishing the history of the neighborhood. The Herald did an investigation on this and several others in an article that was, it was entitled something about the white boxes coming to the West Grove. And the idea here is that developers are finding ways and loopholes, and in some cases straight out deception to violate our code. This is a neighborhood of single family homes and duplexes. And you can see in this image, the Florida Building Code of a 10-foot distance between buildings is not being respected. That's a life safety issue. And secondly, our code, which says you must be set back 5 feet from your property line, is not being respected by either of these structures. What led to this? What happened here was a genius move on the part of the developer. They bought 2 lots in a cheap part of town. They went for a unity of title to make it 1 lot. Then they built a big house near the center of that lot, right on the old property line, as if it was going to be one big house and a yard. And then they applied to us to undo that unity of title. And if we were to grant that reversal of the unity of title, there should have been a caveat that the property line needed to then move from the original, because reinstating that property line would create a violation in our code. They deceived us in their letters to our departments, saying that nothing in their application would violate the code, and that if it did, they would undo it. But there's also errors on the part of our department, because if they had studied the drawings, they would have seen their actions did force or allow this sort of zero setback concept, this look. So the second building was then applied for. Here's where error number 2 came in from our departments, where they approved a building permit for something that is completely illegal, not only to our zoning code, but to the Florida Building Code. So there were multiple errors on our side. So I get how in a legal situation, we may have a weakness in court here. But I also believe that the intent of deception on the part of the developer is so clear and in writing that we may have strength as well. The problem here with this settlement is that we are caving in and we are telling our community that we will not follow our zoning code, that we will approve things that are illegal, and then when we get sued, we're going to let them off the hook. The settlement here is just basically asking them to block up a few windows between the buildings and allow this setback violation and what would otherwise be a building code violation to continue. And this will be here for decades. These new structures that really violate the character of this community. We really have to understand that the value of a property on itself is the built out square footage, but the value of a community and a neighborhood has to do with us respecting our code and following our own rules, and we're not. If you can undo this, the screen sharing, that's really all I have to say about this issue. So clearly I'm not in favor of the settlement as it is. I'll be voting no on CA3.
If I may, Ms. McNulty, who's handling this case, I would like for her to say all the stipulations with regard to this case, because it's not simply boarding up windows. So if we can just clarify some of the points.
Madam City Attorney, if I may, before you ask Ms. McNulty to give her stipulations, if I may ask the chair or the vice chair that's there, if I could address the commission. Vice Chair?
I'm here.
Okay, Chairman. Okay. Commissioner Russell, I'm glad you put that picture up because, as they say, a picture stays 1,000 words. And maybe you could understand why back in February 14th of last year, I showed numerous pictures of events like this that were going on in my own district. Many of them that had been going on even for years before I got there. And I will support you in this. If you want to take this off the agenda today, for you to speak to the city attorney's office, I will support you because this is your district. These structures are going to be there forever. And I never saw the pictures that you showed. I mean, it's very telling. I do have a question that maybe you could answer me, if not, someone else can. Who gave the final approval for this? Was it zoning, the zoning director of the time, or was it planning? I think it most likely would have been zoning, but if someone could answer me the question.
So it was zoning that gave the approval to release the unity of title, Commissioner.
Okay, and the zoning director of the time was who?
Mr. Sejas.
Okay, Devin Sejas. All right.
Yes.
Who is the developer that either started the project or has ended up with it? Is it the same one or?
It's the same. The developer is the current owner of both lots, and it's the same owner who's owned.
Who is the owner?
It's a corporation, 3384 Day Avenue Investments.
Yeah, but the corporation's got to have someone that's an officer behind it. Who's the officer? Would you know, Mr. Russell?
I believe if you look on Sunbiz, I haven't had contact with them directly. I don't want to speak out of turn because I believe it's on Sunbiz. That's the only place, but I haven't had contact with them, so I don't know.
Well, on Sunbiz, what does it say? Does it give you an actual name of officers of the corporation or not?
3384 Day Avenue, Day Investments Incorporated is Alejandro Velez. I don't know if that's the agent or if that's the developer, but that's what seems to be on.
Okay, Madam City Attorney, do we know who the real owner is, or?
We'll look it up. We'll look it up.
And look, what Commissioner Russell has brought up, and let me quote his words, approving things that are not legal. This is what I ran into when I first got elected a commissioner, that the same zoning director that approved this was given approval for numerous things in my district that were not legal. In fact, it was clear that in some of them, there was a conspiracy to purposely lie to the rest of the city. Like a container that was made to appear to be a standing restaurant, and then the same zoning director that made the decision here gave a ruling that as long as they would put axles on it, that it would be legal because then it was a food truck and it could be moved. Well, that was wrong to begin with. Even if it had axles, it would have been illegal. However, they went ahead, making it illegal, like if it did have axles, until I brought the former manager there one night and he saw that there weren't even any axles on it. All the city had gotten were pictures, so that could have given the cover for the zoning director to have approved it. And like that, we ran into many other items. I'll give you another example. What I would call a flea market that they were claiming it was going to be a farmer's market. This whole thing started before I was elected a commissioner. After it was made clear to the zoning director that he could not approve what he was intended to approve because it did not meet any criteria of what the law required for a farmer's market. He acknowledged that it was correct and that he read it. And then a short time later, he went ahead and approved it. And neither in the case that Commissioner Russell is bringing up, nor in the two cases that I'm bringing up and others, is there any accountability. Nobody in this city ever has to pay any price for either so-called mistakes or shenanigans. And this is part of what has to stop. And this is why, Commissioner Russell, I will support for you to defer this until you meet with the city attorney's office, if that's your desire, because this kind of stuff cannot go on any longer in any of our districts.
Mr. Chair? Mr. Chair, you. Well, I'm going to authorize myself. Commissioner Russell, you never saw this before. I mean, when they were planning on doing what they did, and I agree with you. And I've been stating and saying it many times, just as Commissioner Carollo has found that our system has been played. I've been saying it, that some developers have played our system with the definition of affordable housing, the definition of setbacks, and all of that. But you never were aware that it was going to look like that, because that is a monstrosity. Have you seen that before, Commissioner Russell? The picture that you showed?
It was brought to my attention by residents in that neighborhood after it was built.
I will support you on defending this, and I think that you are absolutely right on one and your arguments. I think that you are absolutely right. See, I mean, we have to stop this, and that's why I been asking for a long time that every single department, the process that which they follow to make a decision has to be analyzed. And I'm real confident that our city manager will go into the departments and analyze the processes and how we keep them. We keep things like this from happening again, and things that like Commissioner Carollo encountered and been fighting for so long in his district. I said we have to find solutions for those problems. I will support you too, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. So we can either have a shade meeting on this, or I can work with the city attorney to see what our exposure is, to see what our chances are. But more importantly, we as a commission need to work on closing these loopholes. I know we now have a new city manager, we have a new zoning director, but the code is still the same. And so we can still get played, and these sorts of things can still slip by. There are certain procedural things that need to change, and there's certain things within the code that need to change to tighten up loopholes. But I appreciate your support in this. I hope to find a reasonable solution with this developer. I've never met with them. The city attorney's been trying to work this out from a legal and financial perspective to get us out of this and move forward with the least financial exposure for the city. And I understand and respect that. But sometimes, and I'm not trying to incur more cost as a city, but I really want to study better what our chances are in this case, and really show our residents that we want to respect our code, that their worst suspicions about our administration and our electeds are not true. So I appreciate your support in deferring this item.
Well, let me just say this. There were no loopholes here. What happened here is that the personnel that we had in zoning, the zoning director in particular, that's where the buck stops in this item, for whatever reason, I would prefer to believe that they didn't look at it, but I'm not naive enough to know other possibilities could have happened. But none of them come to the fact of a loophole anywhere. This was done in a way to deceive us, the elected officials, and other people. And what bothers me is that the times that we ran into situations like this, no one does anything to investigate, to look at it from our administration's point of view. And I think we need to start doing that. People have to be held accountable. You cannot have a small group of business people, developers in the city of Miami that have the insight to get away with stuff that nobody else can do, because the law doesn't allow them to. So, Commissioner, I just hope that in the future, you also will support me when you see things of the sort, whether in residential or commercial, in my district.
Thank you, Commissioner. So I'll move to defer CA3 to the first meeting in July, and that'll give us some time to work together. I don't think we can go into the details of the settlement here on the dais.
Second the motion.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the PH agenda?
So moved.
In PH2,
PH2 is withdrawn.
PH2 is withdrawn, but we have to, I want to, whenever it's possible, you recognize there were some representative from
is this about PH2?
That's right.
Okay.
Illumination Technologies. I have a letter here from
But it was withdrawn.
Daniel. Yeah, it is Danny Diaz-Balart that he wants to come and read the letter, and I don't know if it's available that we can recognize it, or whenever you feel that it'd be proper to do it.
Okay, well let's finish the agenda, and then maybe we can get back to that when we have the public comments section that we come back up with.
Okay, so
So the PH agenda is a motion to approve.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion?
Yes, please. Just one comment on PH1, please.
You recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We know that we as a city are going to need to be really watching our finances as we move forward in dealing with the recovery from this crisis. We're also seeing how dire it is within our community and the needs. The rental assistance and utility assistance program that we had put nearly $2 million toward, after the lottery is all said and done, is only helping 1,300 people. We had 60,000 applicants within the week for that program, over 30,000 of which actually complied with the requirements and went into the lottery. That means there's 30,000 people who are willing to apply, that knew about this program, that had lost their job in the city of Miami and had this need. So it's a drop in the bucket of what we're facing. So PH1 is a reallocation of $250,000 of my CDBG funds to help, shore up that program a little bit more. But I know that's going to be gone soon as well. We've got a tough road ahead of us, and I know we're going to need to tighten our belts. I'm glad that this is coming from CDBG funds rather than our general fund. But I thank you for your support on this item.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor saying aye.
Aye.
All against? Motion carries. I want to know for the record that there's a substitution that's been included for RE7 and RE8. So any motion to approve the RE agenda would include that substitution for each of those items.
Chairman, if we can slow down on the REs, because there's a few things. Give me 1 second. What's that? Okay, RE8, you all received a substitution with regard to the noise waiver reso. That is going to be a process which the city manager is going to work on for the future. That's how that has been amended in order to deal with the noise waivers for these types of events. And then for RE7, I have to read something into the record.
Mr. Chair.
You recognize, sir.
I want to pull out RE3 from your motion. I want to discuss it as standalone.
That's fine. There's no motion on the floor just yet.
Oh, I thought you had made a motion to approve the RE items.
And is there any other item that any of you do not want in the motion to include the majority of these items? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the RE agenda as amended on the record, not including RE3?
May I read the RE7 language that I have to add on the record?
That's fine.
For RE7, you also received the substitution.
Is it absolutely necessary to read the amendment?
Yes, I'm sorry. Okay. For RE7, I just wanted to note that you also received a substitution that clarified the changes. I need to read into the record the one thing that was not included in the substitution, which is that this resolution is ratifying, confirming, and approving that pursuant to Section 1872B20 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, allocations of API funds in the aggregate amount of $50,000 or less in a single city fiscal year to any single entity pursuant to the API guidelines shall not require City Commission approval. The reason why I just wanted to clarify that for the record is that we've had a practice of bringing these items to City Commission, even though they do not need to come to City Commission pursuant to that code section. When it's less than 50,000, there was in the 2018 minutes, some of the commissioners had requested for these items to still come back, even though it's not required by our code. So I just wanted to make sure that if a commissioner wants to bring an item, he definitely can, but it is not required. And I wanted to clarify that we're also amending the budget in the future to delegate for these API contracts to be signed by their templates, and that they could be signed by the manager, just to clarify all that, which is allowed by Chapter 18. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
So which items are on the motion?
On the motion, RE1, RE2, RE4, RE6, RE7, RE8.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to co-sponsor RE4, please.
Note for the record. I'll take that. I don't remember who made the motion, so I'll take that as a motion, and I'll second the motion. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All against? Motion carries. Commissioner Diaz-Olea, will be recognized on RE3.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that we reject all proposals and instruct the city manager to enter into competitive negotiations with at least 5 individuals or firms possessing the ability to perform such services and obtain information from said individuals or firms relating to the experience, qualifications, and the proposed cost or fee for said services, and make a recommendation to the city commission for future approval. This motion would reject and throw out those 6 companies that responded to our debris removal RFP. And we can go into the details why I made this motion now when we open up for debate.
Okay.
You want me to?
It's been.
I wanted to clarify that this is consistent with our city code. There is a provision that allows for this exact motion.
And that's why I read it verbatim to make sure that we were consistent with what we need to do here. I know we're nearing hurricane season and we need to move quickly on this, but I've spoken to our city manager and he's agreed that he can negotiate with at least 5 different local companies with an emphasis on local. Very, very important during these times that we're facing, hard economic times, that we deal with as many local companies and employ as many of our own as possible, but that we really have we really have some bad actors, and definitely one bad actor potential has a history of not really doing good things in the past. And I think we need to judge these entities by what they've done in the past. And I don't want to happen to us what's happened to other cities and other municipalities and other states with one of these companies. And so it's a long list and there's a lot of arguments why, and I want to try to avoid getting into the details.
Yeah, Commissioner,
if I can.
Commissioner, I'll second your motion.
Okay.
And then I'll recognize Commissioner Reyes for discussion.
Well, you move it because I was going to make a motion.
Yeah.
You made the motion. I'm seconding it, and I agree with you 100% that we have to review this and make sure that the people that we're contracting, they have the equipment and they are ready to serve the city of Miami. I agree with you, Commissioner, and I second it.
Any further discussion?
Yes, I just want to, for those of you who were on the dais when Hurricane Irma hit, and it didn't even really hit, it grazed us, and the amount of debris that was needed to be removed caused a national, just because of the Texas coast, Louisiana coast, everybody was fighting for these operators to come in, and it became a seller's market on their side. And fortunately, we had the size and strength as a city to really bring them here and get our streets cleared faster than a lot of other areas. So I really want to make sure, beyond local operators and beyond cost, that we are having the best options available to make sure that we can clear our streets as fast as possible and get back on our feet and give the manager as much leeway and strength and flexibility as he. I'll absolutely support your item. And trust that the manager will help negotiate on our behalf to get the best possible services for us.
I agree.
Seeing no further discussion, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All against? Motion passes, which of course is a rejection of RE3. It's denied.
Okay.
Madam City Attorney, can you read SR1 into the record, please?
That's been deferred. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's the one we're going to amend.
The bifurcate.
Yeah.
An
Okay.
ordinance,
Let
an
me
ordinance,
Okay, go right ahead.
an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 31, Article 2 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, titled Local Business Tax and Miscellaneous Business Regulations, Local Business Tax, more particularly by amending Section 31-51 titled Food Trucks Operating on Private Land to modify the regulations for food trucks operating on private land, including but not limited to requiring site plan approval for food trucks that park overnight or are present for more than 3 days on private property, creating standards for such site plan approval, providing for an exemption of food truck requirements for properties used by religious or educational institutions, and an exemption from certain requirements for food trucks engaged solely in app-based meal production. That's the one that we're going to amend, correct? We're going to
Correct. The kitchens are going to take out the
We're
kitchens.
going to take that out. So strike the app-based meal production containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date.
Move it.
Seconded.
So we will be modifying, if this is the will of the commission, you will be passing this legislation and we will be modifying the definition of food trucks to exclude app-based food trucks, which would not be allowed to operate pursuant to this section.
That's going to be brought up later on in another meeting.
So we would add a prohibition also that these app-based food trucks, meal productions are prohibited.
No. My intention here is because the code did not reference app-based meal production before, and they didn't fall within the definition of food trucks. So they were being added. We simply need to remove the reference at this point.
That's right.
And then address it when necessary. I don't think we need to create a prohibition at this point, because our goal is to try to see if there's a way they fit into our code down the line and work with in a compatible way and not a competitive way.
That's right. It could be a complement instead of a competitor.
All right, so at this time, then we will be removing it from the definition of food trucks and we'll create its own definition. But just know that if it's not in the definition, it's technically a prohibition for now. I just.
Understood. Just not expressly. Thank you.
So it has been properly moved and seconded that we modify SR1 and SR1. There's a motion to approve. Right? That's noted on the record, right, Mr. Clerk?
That's right. It was moved and then seconded. I moved it.
Properly moved in second, and the amendment has been stated on the record.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All against?
Aye.
Been noted on the record. Commissioner Jocoloyo is against. Motion carries.
Okay.
Madam City Attorney, can you read into the record FR4?
Yes, Chairman. FR 4 is an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 2, Article 11, Division 1 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, titled Administration Boards, Committees, Commissions Generally, by adding new Section 2-863 titled City Staff Attendance to provide instances where the city manager must direct staff to attend certain board meetings, providing a severability clause and providing for an effective date.
This is Mr. Chair.
Yeah, you're recognized, sir.
Okay. This was, I mean, we developed this because many a times there were meetings and experts in the matter of zoning and in other issues. They did not attend the meeting, and then it was people were at loss. And I just want to make sure that the experts and the people that are responsible for enforcing the code be there. That's all.
Is that a motion, sir?
Yes, I move it.
Seconded by Commissioner Jocoloyo. Is there any further discussion? You recognize, Commissioner.
Thank you. I just didn't have full understanding in my briefing what this would fix, what was broken that this would fix, and if it creates any sort of burden on the management, or if this is actually something that is needed. if the administration and Commissioner Reyes could help me understand better.
Well, yes, and I had we had instances, for example, when we were talking about the median income and how it would affect the in PSAP, and we were talking. Many instances that there were items that were brought to the code enforcement or to PSAP and other committees. The people that were experts in the area, they were not present. You see. And this, the only thing that does is that will guarantee that when an issue is being undertaken, that requires the presence of a city employee, that it is either in charge or it is an expert on the issue that is going to be being discussed, that we have somebody from that department there if just in case some questions arise or some definitions have to be clarified.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, you're recognized, sir.
I'd just like to understand how the process would work. How would the manager know who needs to be there? Would the board, the lower board, request a certain expert? And let's say if there's an item on their agenda and they haven't met on the item yet, who would make that request? Would it be the chair outside of the meeting requesting of the manager to have some staff member present, and it would be at the purview of that lower board? Or is this something that would have to come to commission? I just want to understand the process.
Mr. Manager, you want to be recognized?
Yeah, so I think it would happen in two ways, Mr. Vice Chair. I think it's critically upon the actual committee itself to advise where they may want someone present, either a department representative or somebody on staff present for a particular item, especially if it's a little maybe unclear, but it's also on my office to review the various agendas of those committees and boards, so that if we identify a particular item, right, that would require the presence of someone within that area of expertise, that we make somebody available at those meetings too. So I think it'll come from both sides.
Thank you. I'll be in favor.
Any further discussion? There is a motion on the floor. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All against? Motion passes. Are there any boards and committees?
Yes, good morning, Chair and Commissioners. We have two boards and committees appointment. BC 19, the Miami 21 Report Ad Hoc Task Force. Commissioner Diaz de la Portilla will be appointing Bernardo Fort Brescia to the electo category and Kobe Karp to the architect category.
Good.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And BC 23 Off-Street Parking Board. The Off-Street Parking Board is requesting confirmation of Thomas Jelke, who requires a 5-5 term waiver.
Who would?
I have a question.
Yes.
How long has Mr. Jelke been on this board?
Mr. Jelke has been on this board 20 plus years.
20 plus, specifically?
If you give us a second, I can get that information for you.
Okay, high 20s, low 20s?
Yeah, he has not been on for 20 plus years. He filled in a position before, and he's not been on that long. I don't know the exact time, but it has not been 20 plus years. He wasn't on the board when I was hired, and I was hired there 20 plus years ago. So he came in after I was hired, and I don't know the exact time, but it hasn't been that long. In fact, if I recall, I think he replaced Michael Koznitsky on the board. I think he was Michael Koznitsky's replacement.
And the reason why I'm asking is, it's nothing against Mr. I have a lot of respect for him. It's just that there are going to be some conversations down the line about the MPA and about meters and rates, and those conversations are going to take place. And I just wanted to make sure that the people that we're appointing to the board are going to take place, and that sometimes new blood is needed to sort of to be more modern in your thinking and what the city needs, especially in light of these economic crises that Miami's facing now. these high parking rates and are a little bit of a concern to me, particularly in Allapattah and the poor areas of our community. So I want to have that conversation with the MPA as we move forward, depending how badly impacted. I presume they're going to be very badly impacted economically. Our residents are going to be once we get out of this crisis we're in right now. So it's a conversation that we're going to have about the reality of some parts of our community cannot afford these high parking rates. Frankly, if they're in front of a high level, high end restaurant in downtown, anybody can pay what they can pay in the restaurant. But if they're parking to get a soup or something in Don Tostón in my district, and there's only 3 spots in front and they have to pay, and it's just not cost effective for them to go visit that business and pay more for the parking than for the soup. That's sort of a point. I know the previous commissioner from this district had a concern about it. I know that Art, when you were over there at the MPA, that you accommodated him and because he expressed the same concern. So I would like to have that conversation, and maybe you can also accommodate, because you're not your successor over there at the MPA can address some of the concerns that I have.
Well,
these parking rates.
I'm certain they're going to be more than receptive to whatever concerns you have, but with the understanding that it's the city commission that controls the rates.
Yes, of course, but you guys recommend. We control the rates, but the MPA, I say you guys, I look at you, I remember the MPA, but yeah, the MPA, it puts the locations, right? And they pick the location, the site placement and all that. So you can put them, and
only through concurrence with the city manager's office, by the way. So city manager actually has control.
So it goes from the MPA to the city manager, that's you. And then it has to come to this commission, that's us. And then we will kind of try to figure out how it works for the different parts of the community. Not all of Miami, as you know, is created equal in terms of economic abilities. So we have to make sure that those meters are where they need to be, and perhaps some of our tourists, that when we get them back, some of our wealthier citizens that can afford these expensive restaurants, few of them live in my district, if any, can pay their fair share, and while not putting the undue burden on the less wealthy and the poor people in our communities. And I know Commissioner Reyes has the same concern about his district. I haven't Commissioner Carollo, but he has the same issue, pockets of poverty in his district, and Commissioner Hardiman, you two, Chair, have pockets of poverty in your district that are concerning. We don't have all the good things and all the expensive things that Commissioner Russell has in his. So these parking meters and these rates that we set, you're correct, cannot be set evenly across the city. So that's a debate that I don't want to have today, but I want to make sure that as we appoint a board member to the MPA, to the Off-Street Parking Authority, that we at least have, that person has an understanding that this is a debate that we're going to require some flexibility and replacement of these meters and some hard conversations that we sometimes have to have. Friends can many times have to have hard conversations.
So let me just say a couple of things. So obviously I'm slightly jaded because I come from that environment, right? But I also kind of feel that we established a culture there, and particularly with my board, they have always been good stewards of that agency, and especially in line with what's in the best interest of the city. So I don't think we're ever going to have an issue with MPA and their partnership and their responsiveness to whatever the city needs, and more particularly our elected officials and our constituents. I'll also speak a little because I'm sort of outside the agency now, but I have a tremendous amount of respect for Mr. Jelke, and I think he's done a phenomenal job there as a board member. And I would certainly encourage the commission to support his renomination. And just in line of just the excellent working relationship we have with that agency, and we'll continue to have. And obviously I'm a voice for that organization and certainly have a lot of insight there. And that being said, in my current position, ultimately they are going to be stewards for what's in the best interest of the city as a whole.
And I agree with them. And I agree with that, Mr. Noriega. I just want to make sure that that the conversation's coming. That's all. And I do agree they've been great stewards of our dollars. They've done an excellent job throughout the years. And you did an excellent job as an executive director there for 20 years, 20 plus years, not to age you, but 20 plus years you were executive director there. But I just wanted to make the point now because I think it's a point that needs to be made at some point, and it's better early than later.
Commissioner Russell.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Diaz-de la Portilla. I understand where you're coming from, and we had a lot of robust discussion on the rate change when this happened under your predecessor. We certainly tried to capture the spirit of not changing the rate for our residents, and also varying the rate throughout the city to accomplish exactly what you did, what you intended. And I remember being willing to work together with other commissioners to make sure that the burden didn't fall on their residents. After that passed, though, the devil's in the details on how this is implemented. And I really think that the MPA could do a deeper dive on the technology and the communication and the access, because to get that discount is not as simple as some people would have wanted. And the default should have been the discount for the residents. And so if they weren't very technologically savvy, they were missing out on the discount, which shouldn't have been the discount. It should have been the floor and the surcharge, or whatever, however you want to look at it. I recognized a lot of cases where people didn't know they were getting charged up to 3 times as much that they should have as a resident of the city of Miami. So I think the MPA has the finances to really deep dive on that technology and the communications to make sure our residents are getting the rate they should. And then as we look at this again, there was a concern that if the rate was too high in certain areas, even for out-of-towners, we would be damaging businesses from those who would otherwise drive in. So I look forward to working on these things in the future. But I've worked with Tom in the past on items, and I normally am not a big fan of 5/5 waivers for term limit, but I do believe he is a good asset to the board, so I'll be in support.
Okay. City Clerk's office, then you had something you want to add to the record?
Yes, Chair, thank you. And we will be submitting into the record a signed copy of the resolution passed by the Off-Street Parking Board recommending the reappointment of Thomas Jelke. Thank you, Chair.
You're welcome. So is there a motion to approve it?
I moved it. I didn't receive any second, but
Okay, second by Commissioner Alex Diaz de la Portilla. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against? Motion carries. All right, so at this moment, what I'd like to do is I'll open up the floor for public comment. If there were any further public comments, especially regarding pocket item number 3. Are there any individuals who wish to speak on public comment?
IT, did any other public comments come in?
We have Mr. Diaz de la Portilla. I'm not sure if that qualifies as public comment. He's an attendee.
He was the one that was given an opportunity to speak on the illumination item.
Yes.
So, Mr. Chairman, you'll advise us when that can happen?
Okay.
Who do we have?
Mr. Daniel Diaz-Balar on illumination.
Okay.
Diaz de la Portilla.
Mr. Diaz de la Portilla. And,
I said Diaz-Balar.
What Alice is gonna say.
Did I say Diaz de la Portilla?
I see the resemblance.
don't look alike, right, Mr. Chairman? Yeah, you said Diaz de la Portilla, I think.
So I'll recognize him now. Good to see you, sir, outside of the courtroom.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. It's great to see you as well, and all others, commissioners, Mr. City Manager. Thank you for the briefly regarding file number 6505. I represent Illumination Technologies. I just want to start by thanking Commissioner Reyes for his support throughout these 2 years or so that we've worked on this project. It's been a real joy to work with you and your staff, especially your Chief of Staff, Steve Ferreiro. Everybody's been very professional, been a true joy. So thank you so much for your support. And once again, I'm just going to read a brief statement from Illumination Technologies regarding our decision to withdraw this item. Illumination Technologies Florida hereby requests that the City of Miami withdraw our item from the Commission's agenda. For 2 years, we diligently and in good faith worked with the City of Miami to try and reach an agreement whereby Illumination Technologies would make a considerable and generous investment in the city and its residents. Illumination Technologies was committed to working together with the City of Miami on a forward-thinking project to provide smart city infrastructure to the city for the benefit of its residents. Illumination Technologies' proposal consisted of building and entirely funding the approximately $8 million project that would have included an expansive Wi-Fi network in city parks for use by its residents, state-of-the-art security systems for the police, and a fiber optic network for use by the city. In addition, Illumination Technologies' proposal included the payment to the city of a monthly flat fee for each multi-purpose pole constructed. Our offer was extremely generous, especially in light of existing Florida law, which permits the unimpeded construction of telecommunications infrastructure by providers in the city's rights of way without any remuneration to the city whatsoever. Regrettably, after considerable time and investment on the part of Illumination Technologies, we're left with no choice but to withdraw this proposal. This is due in no small part to assurances of support that we received for our project, which did not materialize at the time it was considered for a vote. Furthermore, in the 2 years since we initially offered to build this project, the effectiveness and opportunity to deploy these co-location multi-purpose poles dramatically diminished as hundreds of single carrier poles were approved by the city, while our project was met with hurdle after hurdle in the same time period. Accordingly, Illumination Technology has decided to focus its efforts on the municipalities that understand the value of its offer to provide valuable infrastructure solutions. In terms of our plans for the city of Miami, as we previously advised the City Commission during the meeting of February 13, 2020, we will proceed to construct telecommunications infrastructure in Miami rights of way via a separate, properly licensed and registered telecommunication provider as permitted under Florida law. Signed, Danielle Kirby, Deputy CEO and General Counsel of Illumination Technologies, Florida. Thank you for your time today, and please stay safe.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
1 second. I just want to make sure that that we conclude the public comment. So is there any other person for public comment?
No, sir.
Okay. Can you bring us back to the City Commission? Thank you. Madam City Attorney, that was a mouthful. Commissioner Reyes, going to recognize you.
Yes, first of all, I want to thank Mr. Diaz-Balart for coming, and it is a shame that, I'm just going to ask him, my part, I'm part of the City Commission, that what happened before, don't preclude them for coming to the city again. And I'm not talking about the Illumination Technology, but any other business that this company has, that we would be more than glad to undertake. And I know what had happened here, and I have to be very specific about it. For 2.5 years, the goalpost was kept on moving farther and farther away from them. And every time they would try to bring this into for a vote, the previous administration was asking more and asking more, and we need more money, and we need more money, and we need more money. And we knew, and I remember the last meeting, we knew that they were properly licensed as a telecommunication provider, and they didn't need to provide any type of benefits to the city of Miami, because unfortunately, every telecommunication provider, they have the blessing of the state to do as they please on our streets. And we lost this opportunity, and I really hope that this is a lesson that when we have the ability of the probability of obtaining benefits, that we're going to do business, and let's be a little more serious, and instead of moving the goalposts all the time and asking more and more and more, that this doesn't happen again. That's the only thing. And I'm sorry, Mr. Diaz-Balart, and good luck in your endeavor. I know that I'm going to see your polls all around, but the only request that I'm going to ask is, if you have any poll that it is close to one of the city parks, please make those city parks, and if it is in my district, much better, but make those city parks Wi-Fi. Thank you. That's all I want to say.
Commissioner Carollo, is there a motion to approve your pocket item number 3?
So moved. Second.
Moved and second to approve pocket item number 3. Is there any further discussion? I want to note for the record that the public comment period was open again for pocket item number 3 and closed at this moment. considering that no other person wants to speak on public comment regarding the item. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All against? That motion carries.
Chair, for the record, I have that as 4-0 with Commissioner Diaz de la Portilla absent.
Okay.
Commissioner Diaz de la Portilla, did you want to vote yes?
I voted yes. The thing is that my thing was off. My video was off.
The record will reflect 5-0.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, we have come to the end of our agenda. If all hearts and all minds are clear, I'll conclude this meeting. Thank you so much for your help.
Before you conclude, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
You're recognized.
Are you leaving us?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I've been reading.
I get sometimes I get so into the business, right?
You're spoiling my surprise. I got the cake for you. I got balloons.
I'm actually going to miss you.
On a away party.
Yeah.
But I heard through the grapevine or through the media, I guess, same thing right here in this town, but that you're leaving us. So, I've enjoyed working with you. I know you're going to be in other meetings, but I just want to let you know that I've really, in the few months that I've been here in this commission, I've truly enjoyed working with you, Mr. Chairman, seeing you as chairman of this commission and just working on different issues. And I, for one, I'm going to miss you. We're beginning to build a very good relationship. And I know you'll do great things in future endeavors. I think you'll be successful, very successful in what you do in your future endeavor. And just want to make sure that the meeting didn't end without me.
I appreciate it, Commissioner. Thank you so very much. I really do. And what I'll do, gentlemen, so today I'm going to be submitting my irrevocable letter of resignation from the Miami City Commission. And what I'll do, I guess, and I do that at 1 o'clock, but I'll read it to you all so you know exactly what it says, so there's no confusion where it may be. And here it goes. Dear Mr. Hannon, my tenure as a Miami City Commissioner has been an incredible experience for a child born in poverty and raised to be a servant of his community. I will forever be grateful to our electors for the tremendous duty they bestowed upon me. Now, as my tenure comes to an end, please accept this letter as my irrevocable letter of resignation in accordance with Section 99.012 Florida statutes. This resignation is effective no later than the earlier of the date I will take office, if elected, or the date my successor is required to take office. It has been a pleasure to serve the people of the city of Miami. So, indeed, gentlemen, I will be here. We still have a lot of work to do and a lot more time. I'm going to be here through this COVID-19 issue that we're facing. I think this is a great group of men and women that support us in making this a priority in the city of Miami and something that we can tackle with pride, with dignity, with honor. And so I thank you for the opportunity to continue to serve in this role as your chairman, and I look forward to the work that we will continue to do.
Mr. Chair?
You recognize, sir.
I don't want to say it now, but because I wanted to wait until the last date. But from the bottom of my heart, I have to thank you. Thank you because I have never been I didn't have the experience that Diaz de la Portilla has in parliamentary procedures and all that. He is a PhD in it. But I came in and you were so gracious. I mean, you guided me, and every time that I made a mistake on calling whatever, I mean a deferral for a withdrawal, I'm missing all the terms. You always were patient and always supported me, and and tried to guide me in the right way. Thank you very much, and I wish you a lot of luck. And I know that you're going to be a hell of a good commissioner. I know that.
Chair for me.
God bless you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I still remember the first CRA meeting that we did together. I remember your campaign. I remember your prior campaign and how much energy and intellect and integrity you have brought to this process. You have been a champion for the people of your district, and I think that's the highest praise that anybody can give, is that you have dedicated yourself without letting anything get in the way of trying to do the very best that you can. You've been innovative, you've been their champion, and you've been their voice. And so for me, it's been a tremendous honor to serve alongside you in the commission first, and then to be mayor with you as chair majority of the years that I've been mayor. You've done a phenomenal job of steering this commission And I'm going to miss you on a personal level greatly. I know you'll be in the county and you're going to be successful, and we all know we're all going to get behind you, and you're going to get there easily. But I'm going to personally miss you. I know our friendship will continue beyond this office that you hold, and probably for the rest of our life. But I just want you to know that I'm just truly honored and grateful to have served alongside you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Well, I will join all the statements made by the mayor and my commission colleagues. I will reserve my final statements to the chairman for when he really leaves their presence, which I think will be November 11th, if I'm correct. Hopefully the cake doesn't melt between now and then.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right, gentlemen, thank you so very much. This meeting has come.
Commissioner, if I may.
Yes. Okay.
Sorry. The police chief would like to say something real quick, real brief, if you can.
Chief, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners, Mr. Mayor, Madam City Attorney. I just wanted to say really quick, publicly, this is National Police Week, May the 10th through the 16th. And what that means is typically right now in Washington, D.C., they would be adding 307 names of fallen police officers that have perished in the line of duty. Obviously, because of what's going on, it's been different this year. But we're honoring our fallen in the city of Miami. We've lost 39 police officers in the line of duty in the history of this police department. And I just wanted to take a moment really briefly first to thank all the men and women of the Miami Police Department that come out every day and give so much to this city and sacrifice so much and risk their lives, number one. Number two, I would be greatly honored if all of you at some point take an opportunity. We will be posting on Friday at 6 p.m. Our memorial service that we normally have here. And most of the time, some of you attend or watch or send messages. If not all of you, we're going to have to do that virtually. And so we've done a video. It's about 20 some odd minutes of our memorial. That'll be on channel 77 Friday at 6 o'clock, or it'll be on Facebook. And if you didn't have the time, then you can just go back and view it. And I would be certainly honored if you watched and see how we honor our fallen here at the city of Miami. And lastly, Commissioner, congratulations on your move. And you've been a wonderful part of our city government. We're all going to miss you very much, even though I'm sure we'll all be working with you over in your position at the county.
Thank you, Chief. Commissioner Russell.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I should have asked this earlier. I just want to make sure from the city manager and the city attorney that in our bifurcation of SR1, that we are still able to continue with our meals program as we have put together. I know some of those satellite kitchen locations were doing grocery delivery for some of our food programs. So there was an order that we all negotiated on last month that allowed, with certain distance restrictions in different parts of town, for them to be able to operate during the emergency period. I just want to make sure that based on that expiring and this item not passing with that chapter in it, with that paragraph in it, that it doesn't interrupt our meals and grocery program that we're working on together.
You would have to pass another resolution. At this time, that temporary measure ended on April 24th. They're not considered food trucks now pursuant to this ordinance. So right now, there's no regulatory scheme for those satellite kitchens.
What's the will of this commission? Because I just want to make sure we actually launched the program yesterday, and it was a big success in making sure that families who have lost their jobs are able to get fed and get groceries and a couple of hot meals. That's the real purpose of this cooperation. So I just want to make sure I understand that some of them are on city properties at this point. Some of them are on their private properties at this point. I just need to know logistically that they don't get interrupted from the meals program that we're working on.
Commissioner Reyes. Yes, Commissioner Russell. This, what you are referring to, the meals that we are delivering through our meals program, that they are being now they are being cooked and delivered from those kitchens.
Correct.
Okay, and as I recall, we passed when we passed the resolution. I mean, we make the decision on last meeting. We excluded downtown Miami, and also I asked you if they were going to be in Coconut Grove, and you said no, they're not going to be in Coconut Grove. Is that true?
They're not in Coconut Grove.
They are not in Coconut Grove, and we will discuss that later on. But I don't want to interrupt that the distribution of meals the way that you have it set up, given the problem that we have. But I'm willing to what was passed, having into consideration and including the kitchen that is now in downtown Miami, excluding that it will remain the same as
So if that would be a motion to extend that emergency order.
To extend that emergency order without the kitchen in downtown Miami. Just
Okay.
as it was adopted. I mean, as it was passed
All right.
last time.
Is that clear, Madam City Attorney?
Okay, so just so you know, the last time you passed a directive, if you're going, which expired on April 24th, 2020, and it read, just so that, because we're gonna have to change it, because this talked about food trucks, the satellite kitchens were considered food trucks. Now we're gonna have to change it to these satellite kitchens. But what was passed, I believe on April 9th, was a direction to the Miami City, a direction of the Miami City Commission to the city manager to temporarily suspend the enforcement of section 31-51 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, relating to the operation of food trucks as an emergency measure pursuant to the declaration of a state of emergency in the state of Florida and the declaration of state of local emergency in the city of Miami, in order to permit food trucks to remain on private property for longer than 3 days, but only under the following circumstances. And that's when we laid out that there will be none in District 3, the ones where they're supposed to be in District 2, and the Districts 1, 4, and 5, as long as they're not located more than 1,000 feet. We set out some
No, we don't want them.
criteria.
I don't want them either in my district. I mean, I'm just saying where they are now, that they are providing the food for those people that needs it in this district. The ones that he has, that's the one that I am agreed with. And I also made it clear that in downtown Miami, you see, that I was totally opposed to that because of this discussion will come again, and I will state which one is my position and why my position is clear. What I don't want is to interrupt the food distribution that Commissioner Russell is doing now, and until this state of emergency that we have, and when it is over, when it comes back, but then we will make it clear why the position of every one of us in regard to those kitchens that now they are serving. They're serving food or to the people that are or the elders that they are at home.
As a potential fix, Madam City Attorney, I believe the city manager is very familiar with each commissioner's request within that original emergency order. Is it not true that he, under his own purview, under the emergency order, can administratively work with these companies, and it's up to him to work with each commissioner and make sure that their wishes are respected in their districts during the emergency order period, without us passing legislation or a resolution at City Commission?
Yes, he can do that under his emergency order.
Then
But
I
you
think,
would have to pass an emergency order.
in the spirit of what Commissioner Diaz de la Portilla said at the beginning of the meeting, the manager is working with each commissioner on these programs. and can work with each of us independently, and it's under his purview to create that.
I
It
do
sounds like
accept that.
just simply extending the order now wouldn't necessarily apply and could open up potentially the doors to other things we're not intending. So I'm in favor of it happening that way, if that's okay with you, Mr. City Manager.
Fine with me.
Okay, then I don't think we need any action at this point.
Okay.
Dia de la Portilla, I know you want to be recognized.
Yes, I would. Thank you, Chair.
No,
I'd just like to,
Diaz de la Portilla, and then you, Commissioner Godoy.
Well, I'll let Chairman, let Commissioner Carollo go first, because
Okay.
let's see what he has to say, and then I'll.
I just want to make an announcement and invite all of you, if you would like to join us tomorrow. We're going to begin tomorrow with the first. It was going to be approximately 12,000 hot meals a week, Monday through Saturday. And I'd like to invite all of you at both of our sites tomorrow. The morning time will be at 11 a.m. at the South Police Substation at Flagler and 22nd Avenue. And in the afternoon, it would be at Henderson Park at Northwest 9th Avenue and Northwest 3rd Street. We're going to be having this every day, 2 different locations, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, 6 different locations that will be rotating throughout the district. Several of the locations are right in the border next to District 1 and District 4. Plus 1 location is real close to District 2. So I invite all of you, if you want to come tomorrow, to feel free and join us, giving the meals out. And this will be open for all City of Miami residents, not just those in District 3. So if you have anyone that's in need in any of your districts, please feel free to let them know that they could come and get meals there. But it would only be for City of Miami residents and only City of Miami residents. We would love to be able to help others outside the City of Miami, but there's just not enough. Even though 12,000 meals a week sounds like a lot, and it is, it's nowhere near enough for our own residents. So, you're all welcome to come and help. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Commissioner Diaz de la Portilla?
No, I have no additional comments.
Okay. I guess all hearts and all minds are clear.
Sir.
This meeting has come to an end.